Friend, where are you? Found you hiding here in the near clear blue.
He's been cited by IGN, The Quartering, Timcast, The Daily Wire, Bounding into Comics, and even Dr. Jordan B. Peterson.
What?
Hey, the Pro Show is on!
Awesome! Let's turn it on.
Guys? Where'd you go?
Morty, let's check in on Ryan Johnson's new trilogy.
Okay. I bypassed the compressor.
What did you do, Ray?
Son of a... That's gonna leave a mark.
Now, he was okay, after 6-7 weeks. Okay? They get over it. Kids are resilient like that.
Yeah.
I hate it.
It's the standard, what would George do?
I don't want you here.
So sorry, George. I didn't think it would go like this.
Fly, you fools!
I've fallen, and I can't get up.
Weird.
Stay away from liquor, kids.
I have always liked Cowabunga.
Now that's more like it, Mr. Wayne.
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward.
The Force will be with you. Always.
That's how winning is done.
I am vengeance. I am the night.
That's what she said.
I am Batman.
If I won tonight, I would come home and we'd celebrate. Well, I'm coming home, we're celebrating. God bless you all.
Watch your habits, for they become your character. And watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. What we think, we become.
It's scooping time.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in just 2 minutes, the lighting at the Magic Kingdom will dim for the performance of the Pro Show. We hope you enjoy and have a magical, truthful time. For the safety of others, please, no flash photography. And welcome to Provision 3D.
All right, everyone, put on your opera glasses.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
You know that you've been taught the golden rule, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you.
Yes, Paul.
Autobots, roll out.
I'm bringing the party to you.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money?
Fortune and glory, kid. Fortune and glory.
Chicken jockey. All right, it's time to go to school, son. Come on, get your hands up, man.
Are you okay?
They'll never take our freedom.
I grew up through wars, poverty, and my life's falling apart. But Wilton's life, well, he's never really lived. He needs legs.
Hi, Wilton the Troll doesn't have any legs, and I feel so bad for him. I'm really excited to help. I'm emptying my piggy bank and giving all my birthday money so he can get better.
Wilton is precious. He said I remind him of his mom.
I really like Wilton the Troll, so I'm gonna empty my piggy bank and my education account to help him. Wilton needs legs more than I need college right now.
I'm honestly just sad for Wilton. He was born with no legs. And me, I got this wheelchair.
I've dealt with my own challenges, so when I heard about him, I knew I had to step up.
Wilton told me he could help me with my computer because I remind him of his mom. But then I did something wrong and it completely broke my computer, so I'm emptying my savings account to help him instead.
Wilton, you're my favorite troll now.
I'm donating because Wilton deserves to feel like he's not alone.
He needs our help.
He's gonna be so happy.
He also told me I was pretty. And I like that too.
Potatoes, fried green tomatoes, arugula. Hey, what's up?
When injustice strikes, I strike back.
Culture, casino. Let's go. Culture, casino. Let's go. When the EMS tries their best, strap him down, check his chest. Culture, casino. Casino. Culture, casino. Casino. Culture, casino. Let's go, let's go.
Now that's an intro to a show. Culture's 7 minutes of celebratory entrance there.
7 minutes was fantastic. By the way, I just want to say on that particular roundhouse kick to round us out there on the intros, that the particle effects of the dust from the top of Darth's helmet after it struck, it's phenomenal. I'm like, okay, well, most human artists wouldn't think to put that in, so that was well done.
Folks, we want to do a reminder for everybody out there. Wilton's Legacy charity stream is going to be tomorrow night at 9 p.m. I have received the stuff we're going to do. And by the way, Dragon Queen's going to be there. Wilton, of course, will be there. And more guests will arrive. It's going to be crazy, a great time. But it's for a real charity. We're not going to tell the troll, but we're not raising money for him or his legs. He thinks we are. But we're actually going to be raising money for a very important cause. A family who the mother passed away on Christmas Day while the son happened to be in the hospital for a different medical reason and on Christmas. And now the son has had a turn for the worst. And we heard about this story. We have so many viewers and followers and people who send us stuff. And we heard about this one. We said, you know what? That's one where we want to get involved. And we did this back at Christmas for a different cause and raised thousands and thousands of dollars. I don't know what we'll do for this one. But ladies and gentlemen, I think it's worthy. And, we want to use the platform we've been given here on the tubes, as they call it, for the right reasons. Culture, we got right reasons to be here today, and we got a lot to say. We're going to be bringing on one of the most popular guests we have here on the show. She'll be joining us in just a few. But before we do so, how about we hit some Super Chats, Culture?
Sounds great.
All right, folks, welcome aboard. If this is your first time joining us here on the Pro Show, just know our job is to explain entertainment, the stories you care about, the stories you hear, the heroes that you once revered, and keep you ahead of the culture curve. So as we are nearing 400 across the TikToks, the Instagrammies, and everywhere else, journalists, the few of you who have come on by, the wise ones, as they say, get your jumbo pencils ready. We're going to give a tour de force of tomorrow's headlines. All right, here we go, folks. The superstars are on the screen. The first Dragon Queen for 5. The Legacy, sponsored by Home Depot and Spirit Halloween. I can now confirm that I have something for Pro Studio, a non-haunted version. Hugs for all. First Dragon Queen, that is so kind. You are one of the real ones.
Yeah.
You get it?
For sure.
Archer Merchant for 5. For the Wiz. Apparently, many scalpers. Wiz, are you out there right now? Calling fake wizard. Hang on. Calling fake wizard. Does he have like a little
wizard? He needs
symbol?
a wizard signal. We need the whiz signal.
Well, easy
that
on the
didn't
whiz
sound
signal.
good. It does, That's not a good out loud phrase. I'm sorry about that.
Calling for the whiz. Calling for the whiz. Apparently, many scalpers bought up to 20 tickets for Star Wars Celebration
and now they're on resale for thousands. That's why it sold out on day one. Yes, if you were here last night, you heard that Fake Wiz said that he was in line for 8 hours to get a Star Wars Celebration entrance and could not get one. Of course, he's working on that for coverage for his channel. So absolutely crazy. And I think now they're selling for $4,000, $5,000.
Oh, it was crazy. Some of the eBay prices or in other places I've seen them. It's nuts.
And going to get higher. Paggy Protons for 2. Agents arrest Disney employees. I saw that with the cruise ship. I saw that. Absolutely. Yeah. We'll probably be covering that tomorrow on That Park Place Live. Hang tight, folks. We will get through all of it. Juliet for 2. Afternoon, pro panel and pro rights. Juliet, you're more than all right with us. Wow. Mark Fields for $4.99. It's a good day to have a great day. Positive vibes to the wonderful panel and the awesome chat. Wow. You know, Mark, one of the things that we do when we come on this show every day is we remember the places that we're going. You know, it's easy. Culture, I don't know what you're looking at in your studio. I'm looking at bright lights because I'm in the new studio. We're getting ready to go on camera soon. We'll have an announcement about that next week. But Culture, I don't know what you're looking at, but I try to envision before I come on the show, I try to envision, you know, the hundreds of people that will be watching in an audience. And I consider where it is we're going to be each day. And some of those places are happy places. Oh, yeah. So some of the places that are listening to us right now, you know, you're on the road on a sunny stretch of interstate, or you're at a job that you love, you know, there are all kinds of happy places that we are. But I also remember that inevitably our voices are being played in the parking lot of a funeral home somewhere as someone's getting ready to go through something difficult and they're tuning in the pro show, or there's a hospital somewhere that our voices are being heard right now. And I always remember, it's always important, no matter what is going on in the world, we have to bring the sunshine that exists beyond the clouds every time we take the stage here. Culture, I don't know if you feel the same way, but there's always a feeling of responsibility there that we're affecting, you know, the atmosphere around people wherever they are.
Yeah, I treat this as the opportunity to tell the truth and to do it in as positive light as I possibly can, whether it be good, bad, or otherwise. And, you know, the guests out there I picture are people like Mark Fields and many others, you know, going about their day and allowing me to talk to them directly and hopefully interact, you know, through the use of the chat and the super chats and everything else, which is another privilege we get here on these kinds of platforms. Because you know what you can't do? You can't yell at the people on CNN via chat. You can't yell at the people on Fox
and
News.
Who would want to, Culture? I mean, really, who wants to? I mean, poor Wolf Blitzer. He couldn't even hear if you did yell. The earpieces would just blow out. Folks, I tell you what, let's uplift everybody and hear what our next guest has to say. You love her, you know her. Who's on the way? We'll find out right now.
I want to hear it.
Not right now.
Yes, now, Dusty Bun.
Wait. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Nat from Nat and the Guy. Welcome back.
Hello, thank you for having me again.
It's a pleasure as always. And we continue on flying blind on a rocket cycle. Member for 22 months. 22 months. And in the voice of Earthworm Jim. Groovy. We agree. And you're groovy too. Jeremiah Embry's out there for 5. Pro in the Toku world. A legend has passed away. R.I.P. Kinji Oba. Absolutely. And R.I.P. and so many out there saying goodbye, fans of Kinji's. And so we join in saying kudos and salute to a great life indeed. All right, let's see here. What do we got? Oh, we got some gifted memberships. How about that? That's handy. That's dandy. Let's go there. Hey, what's going on, StreamYard? Same thing as always. Flying Blind is out there dropping 5 WDW Pro memberships. Blind, we appreciate you.
7 steps off, 7 steps ahead.
We've also got Araxis out there giving 10 WDW Pro memberships. Thank you, Araxis. A great supporter of the channel and been here forever, I think from just about day one. Araxis, you do not go unnoticed.
In the neon glow we rise, electric balls that mesmerize.
Perfect! Wahoo!
Moving right along, we've got TB out there for 2. Culture. What about this new thing, this new bug they're saying might be the kind of bug we dread that we don't want to go back to again? Culture, I think you're muted, sir.
What I was saying is I think a lot of people are very much paying attention to this, and while I'm not going to speak with it with any kind of authority at this point in time, I'll just say a lot of people have reason to be concerned, and I would look into this. This is something that has happened across the globe many times with this particular type of thing, and it has been remedied in short order in many locations, including in my current state of Arizona. So just keep that in mind, that it's past, and of course, our neighbors to the south in Mexico have dealt with this. And again, it's usually little pockets here and there, but the fact that they actually allowed people from an isolated place out into the world makes zero sense to someone like me. But again, I can understand the concern.
I'll say too, I remember the times when you could be banned very easily for anything that you said online, and that time could come back again. So it's not as if it's in the past and it'll stay there. No, we have to constantly defeat that dragon. There are people who would like a revenge tour and to silence all of us. That said, back in the day when you could be removed online for just about anything, I brought to the attention in one of the first places that I popped up online, I brought to the attention of people that, hey, my people in China who worked at Disney at the time were saying they're doing mobile crematories. And so I told about that, and I was promptly removed from that particular platform where I first popped up and told we don't talk about that kind of stuff. In this case, I don't have anything to bring your way in regards to, that kind of a dire pronouncement. So we'll see how it plays out. But for right now, I'm just in a watch and see mode for that one. All right, going along to Kaylee Alpha 5. Time moves towards summer. The 4 seasons of Pedro come to an end. Shall we celebrate Pedro as he goes out like a Skywalker? Kaylee, you better believe when we get to the Pedro story later on the show, we're going to do all 4 seasons. I apologize, folks. I know, but it's his time to shine. And yes, we have new content on the way for the summer to celebrate, and it will not, I repeat, not feature Pedro. Oh, Ron. Ron from Follow Bradley's Fun is out there, says, I got banned a few years ago because I talked about Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno. Archer for 5, they do eBay because eBay exchanges money right away, if I recall. Most ticket sites make you wait until 7 days after the event as a penalty. Yeah, they're already scalping. They're already selling those Star Wars Celebration tickets and at a huge premium cost.
There is a limited transfer window for that, by the way. So I think that was an effort to try to thwart these resellers. So just FYI.
Well, I hope it's thwarted because it seems like they took up the majority of the tickets. I don't know that for sure, but it seems like they flooded the system, and people now are paying $4,000, $5,000, which was more than it was anticipated. I mean, my gosh, Disney already charges plenty, so the idea that we're charging more than Disney now seems like we're breaking math in ways it was never meant to be treated.
Well, I mean, this is the same thing that happened with the D23 Expo tickets that went on sale. So this is, again, a pathway for the people who buy 50 popcorn buckets to try to profiteer off of, the backs of fans, which is
there you go.
Not cool.
Siani Reese for 499. Hello, Pro and Panel. Culture, your video on how to create a watering system has me rethinking my watering practices.
Oh yeah, most people, Siani, actually really didn't understand what an Allah was. It's been around forever. One of the groups of humans I worked with when I was doing church work teams was the Tahamaran Indians, which are world famous civilization. They'd been using this practice forever to keep their crops alive. And all you need is 2 unglazed terracotta pots, some normal bathroom caulking, and a cork for the bottom to seal it. And then you use the bottom from another pot as the top, and you have a week's, if not more, worth of water in your soil, and it waters via capillary action in the most even way. So, yep.
I want you to know, Culture, I need to give something away.
Oh, please.
As you were talking there, I was practicing. See, I'm in the new studio, and I can see where the camera's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I slowly turned my head, as Jim Halpert would do in the office, as you were going on about Allahs and watering practices. I just want you to know what's coming for you as soon as I have full camera capacity. I just want you to know.
Well,
look that I'm ready to give every time we go on a 30-minute tangent about Allahs.
We didn't do 30 minutes. I kept it tight. And look, Marvin sends the most like insane faces when I get into gardening talk. So
I love it. I love it. Listen. Yeah. I am not changing my watering practices. I can promise you, I will still use the restroom exactly the same.
No, not
garden
watering.
Yeah. All right, Arax is out there, member for 37 months. Hey, panel and people, sad to say, I don't think anyone really thinks about or cares about Pedro. He did it to himself. Say hi to Jonas. We miss him. Jonas is traveling this week. He'll be back on Tuesday of next week. And he has still been working hard. Oh my gosh, the stuff that's been happening behind the scenes.
The background's been busy.
Amazing. TB is gifting 1 Pro membership. And folks, as we get ready to get started, I just want to say a special thank you. We found out the other day that there may have been a glitch at YouTube that has affected the channel and should have really damaged the viewership of the channel because of this glitch that we are now finding out existed. And I have to say a massive, from the heart, thank you to this community, because it looks like you all kept this channel going and growing and kept us doing what we do because of your support. This community, I'm being honest here. Hopefully in the next month, we'll be able to talk about this more. I won't be able to speak about this again for at least a month. There's some investigation going on actually behind the scenes at the tube, okay? But it looks like you all, being honestly the best community online, that kept us where we are. And we didn't fall apart. We didn't collapse because you overcame even something that should have driven the channel down. And so from the bottom of our hearts here, folks, we're going to say it. I'll say it in the normal voice, okay? From the bottom of our hearts here on the Pro channel, thank you. But there's somebody who can say it better than us. He's Hank.
God dang it, from the bottom of our hearts here on the WDW Pro channel, thank you.
So, folks, we ask one more time, if you could be so kind as to click that like button. It really, really does help. And all of those super chats and those gifted memberships. I mean, I could call out the great people who have done such wonderful things for the channel, but you have sustained us through this thing that we could see, but we couldn't quite explain behind the scenes. And finally, somebody at YouTube has looked at it and said, yeah, that's not supposed to be there. There's something on. So, folks, we're ready to rock and roll. Thank you so much. Woofle says you do a better Hank impression than whoever did that clip.
God dang it, Woofle, that was me. I did that clip. What are you talking about? Oh.
You're a little lighter when you do it live. That's why. It gets
okay. So I've got heavy. It's 2 different mics. That prior mic was I think it was Blue Yeti. We did the Hank
the Blue Yeti had a completely different absorption of tone.
So. Yeah, and so the setting we have for the mic right now, I don't want to get too in the weeds, but this is like set for an FM AM radio sound. So even if I do Hank on this, it's not going to sound right because Hank isn't speaking into an AM FM radio thing. I mean, that's not what what's his name, Mike Judd is using.
They use these EV studio mics, but they don't gate them the way we do, like we would do for a live show, because we were trying to reduce the breaths and everything else. So
yeah, I'll tell you what, Bobby, all that's interesting to somebody, I'm sure.
All right, folks, we've got news, and it's interesting to all of you. I don't want to lose the moment. But how about, you remember when I said that we're on everywhere, and that includes sad places too? What if we lift you up right now? It's a good news start to the segment. How freaking cool is this? Nat, this is so much fun. Mike Tyson, I've never seen this before. Mike Tyson at a signing, and somebody dressed their kid up as Little Mac from the Nintendo series, gave him the green gloves, even down to the laces, and took it to Mike. And look how happy Mike Tyson is to finally get to face in real life Little Mac. That is phenomenal.
That's what I was going to say. Mike looks even happier than the little kid. The little kid is so cute.
He doesn't have a clue. His parents have done this to him. One day he'll understand. One day they'll show him. But look, Tyson's like, this is the greatest day ever.
if only like you were wearing maybe a red shirt or something like that. I mean, to bring out the contrast more. But look, that is a giant smile. What a great thing to start with, Pro.
It made me so happy when I saw this online. I thought, of all the stuff that's happening, the yuck and the muck and the vitriol and all that, and the drama and the drama. Sorry, Canadians, we'll say it your way too. What a cool thing to see Mike up there. Yeah, I mean, he's just so happy. It's great. All right, folks, we're late getting to the news. Jonas J. Campbell is going to be mad at us. And by the way, as we hit the news, I just want you all to know, we've got more folks showing up. Christian Toto will be here at the 1 o'clock hour on the East Coast. So you got 30 minutes until Christian shows up with us. We got lots to talk about. Let's dive in. First story on the docket. We're going to rock it. It's all about the lost generation of men. Yes. Telling guys that they don't count, they don't matter, the patriarchy is evil, and they shouldn't try to be excellent really did have an impact. It's why we do what we do. We cover stories because they actually matter. The other side recognizes it. We better too. It's time to take back our heroes, our mythos, because, well, the ramifications of what we've been through, guys dropped out of life and sat at home in their basements. And it's time, folks, to reset the standards and bring back the dudes' masculinity. We're talking about you. For the first time on the Pro Channel, please welcome Dave Ramsey. Okay, Dave is not actually here in the studio. We've got a clip of Dave Ramsey, but I hope Dave will be kind. Ramsey Solutions, will you be kind to us if we play parts of this under the fair use doctrine of this is newsworthy and we want to commentate on it? And as we do so, Ramsey Solutions and your automatic algorithms that might strike us, I just want to say that we are recommending people go check out Dave Ramsey, and he'll tell you to eat beans and rice, and that's nice. So, Dave, what do you say? This is so interesting to me. Folks, I can read this to you, or we can let Dave say it to us. How about this? 2 paragraphs in, and then let's let Dave say it, because what's fascinating is we've watched as Star Wars and Star Trek and so many of our mythos and heroes have been stolen away. We've been told that the patriarchy is evil. We've been told that guys should not try to be excellent. And now this has reached the point where it's having an economic impact. For those of you who think stories in Hollywood don't matter, Pro, why do you do what you do exactly? Whatever that is. Well, because this actually has a giant psychological impact on society. From the Iced Coffee Hour, Dave Ramsey explains how manhood and masculinity became toxic and why it led to 7.2 million men sitting at home doing nothing every day. And honestly, I understand it. I'm not here to slam these guys. I'm here to pick them back up and say, you can do it. Get out there. Get off Fortnite. I know you want to be on World of Warcraft or whatever it is you're doing where you're a hero again, but you can do it. You can get out in the real world. Quote, men have been devalued and trivialized and been the villain or the clown of everything for a good 20 years. You don't see a TV commercial where the dad is the hero. He's an idiot. Or a sitcom where the dad is the hero. He's an idiot. Here's Dave Ramsey talking about what Hollywood and entertainment has done to men across the West.
Men have been devalued and trivialized and been the villain or the clown of everything for a good 20 years. You don't see a TV commercial where the dad is the hero, he's an idiot, or a sitcom where the dad is the hero, he's an idiot. The 12-year-old is the smart one, and they smart off through the whole script. And they're the brilliant one, And
which, by the way, is the call to narcissism for young people. You're smart, don't take the hero's journey. The world should take a journey to acquiesce to your every need because you're precious and special, and just because you breathe, you deserve a trophy and a crown. Go to Burger King.
But the dad's a doofus, and the mother rolls her eyes at the doofus that she picked as a life partner. And if you do that to any segment of the economy long enough, eventually they begin to believe it. And so we have 7.2 million men that are able-bodied, able-minded, that are not engaged in the workplace right now. They're doing nothing.
All right, pause right there. Nat, I want to go to you. There was a concerted effort from Hollywood, places like Lucasfilm, but beyond, a concerted effort to slam men at large and masculinity, and to not recognize that there is a proper concept of masculinity and there is an idea of chivalry and heroism, and that men can be the kind of guys who protect those they love and do the right thing and self-sacrifice and go out and do hard work for those that they have determined they shall sacrifice to see them rise. And so instead, Nat, we destroyed that idea. And there have been victims in this. There are real victims in the entertainment push to destroy the ideal form of masculinity. Nat, what are your thoughts on now finding out there's an economic impact to this? This has huge ramifications at the societal level. It's not just silly TV and silly movies anymore.
And I'd also say it's no wonder, and of course, and the fact that these things weren't taken into consideration when they started to make this push, or that they were so self-involved, the people that wanted to make this change and this transition towards a form of feminism that doesn't even serve women either, at least in my opinion, is obvious. But as also, now that we're seeing the ramifications and the effects, I do think that most people are realizing, even those that were pushing it hard, that it's not a good idea to belittle and move aside half of the population, but through lies, because then they start believing them, and then they start actually enacting those lies and becoming those lies. I think there's a way to move past it and forward, and we've seen efforts by a lot of people to try to do it, all the way from Jordan Peterson to Charlie Kirk to everybody else that has spoken on masculinity and how important it is and how the role that it plays is complementary also to the role that women play. And that shouldn't be controversial anymore. I think that we should be able to speak about that and show the actual effects of so many people believing it and enacting it into narratives, putting it into narratives that then speak to the younger generation. And that is the only thing they see. I do think examples are more needed, and those spaces for those examples to flourish of men being actually masculine and what it means are available, and I think people should take them.
Absolutely. I think that's very well said. And I would say this too. I want to do a gentle pushback on Dave Ramsey at the danger of being wrong myself. Culture, see what you think about this. When Dave is talking about the sitcoms and the TV shows,
yeah,
you know, I think Dave is a very successful man who probably doesn't have time to sit down and watch a lot of TV. Now, people can disagree with Dave Ramsey. Fine, I don't care. I'm not going to weigh in on his Financial Peace University and all that kind of stuff. Folks, you go find who you want to give you financial advice. Separate issue here, and I'm not in any way saying that Dave is less than when it comes to that. I think he's done a tremendous work in bringing so many people out of total poverty and breaking their patterns of debt. All that said, because I think Dave Ramsey is so busy, I'm not sure that he is recognizing fully the war that was waged. It's not necessarily that men were turned into doofuses on TV, right? That's always been the case. There's a when you watch Tim Allen in Home Improvement, there's an element of him being a doofus. Right. There's a clown aspect. There's a jester aspect to it that's happening. What I think is more dangerous and sinister, and I mean that, sinister, has been the deconstruction of the heroes. Because what that is, if you think about Luke Skywalker, or you think about Han Solo and his arc, or you think about Captain Kirk, or you think we can go through the list of all of the heroes, they're not just fantasy characters. They're the embodiment of the values within the story. They're the idealization of the values made manifest in the character. And when you destroy a character like Luke Skywalker, what you're actually doing is you're saying to the people who said in the 70s and 80s, I don't have a dad, but I'm going to be like Luke because he takes on the sins of the father and he goes and becomes something more. What you actually are doing is you're taking that value, that proper masculinity value, and you're saying, it's not Luke that's a failure. It's every one of you jokers out there who believed in that. You're a failure too. And culture, that, sorry, I'm getting a little worked up on this because it is now percolated up to like societal impact. Culture, that's the monstrous notion that was dumped upon an entire generation is your heroes are failures. And if you believed in them, if you tried to emulate them, you're a failure. And that's monstrous.
It is, and look, you had willing participants in the institutions that should have isolated it from this. The fact that every single thing was turned into a political situation over the course of the last few years has really kind of driven, maybe from an observational point, the woke era into the limelight. It also kind of helped to disassemble some of these really bad ideas by taking a clinical term like toxic masculinity from the analysis of prisons and repurposing it to everyday guys didn't help at all either. People who were underqualified to utilize such terms were empowered by them, and we ended up with not just a Me Too and Time's Up era, but like the complete catastrophe that came about because of it. It was misused, repurposed for people to exchange a power dynamic that they felt that existed where none should have, which is an odd way to interpret that merit would be rewarded rather than actual, quote unquote, fairness. And all of this was interlaced. It's all been interlocked. And no, there's no way Dave has the opportunity to spend the time that we do to waste on watching media. He's too busy building up not only a sterling reputation, but a platform and a financial education system that I think many people, as you suggested before, have already found to be incredibly valuable. His commentary is sparkling for the most part, and there are a few occasions upon which we disagree, but I'm not going to throw criticism at him for, outlining the very thing that, we've identified over the course of doing this for me for 6 years on this platform. And for you, Pro, what, 3, 2.5?
Who knows, man? I'm just getting started. I'm but a baby when it comes to this YouTube thing. All right, folks, a little bit more from Dave Ramsey, and then I want to throw the converse of this. Nat brought up that we've also given a very poor representation of femininity on the big screen and the silver screen and the small screen. Here's more of Dave, and then we'll get to that.
They're sitting because the entire culture has said, you're a doofus, you're a buffoon, you're valueless, manhood, masculinity is toxic by its very nature, and so you're of no value. And the problem is it's destroying not only economics, but social fabric as well. Because we do know the data on kids, particularly daughters, the cues they take from their dad are devastatingly impactful. Good.
Boy, that's, and I'll say too, now Dave's right. I think it is even more impactful on little girls, but little boys. Little boys need a hero. Little girls need a hero. It's a little bit different. Little girls are looking into the dad usually to be, and we speak with a broad brush here, but little girls are looking to see how a prince will act. Little boys are looking to see what does the hero do, right? And you can see that, by the way, in the Michael Jackson movie. Some of you are angry that we gave the Michael Jackson movie a high score. One of the reasons that I gave the Michael Jackson biopic a high score is because it reveals the damage that a bad father will do. Michael Jackson probably does not become a pathological person. Now, I'm not weighing in on what he did, innocent or guilty or that, but you don't have that kind of plastic surgery. And why did that happen? Why did Michael Jackson have all of these plastic surgeries and then associate more with children than adults? What would cause you to do that? What would cause a man to purposely raise his voice and speak as a juvenile, as a small child, even into his 40s and 50s? Well, if your dad said, you're too black, you don't look like me, you're too black, hey, big nose, get over here, beats you for making mistakes instead of lifts you up and shows self-sacrifice, you want to ruin a kid? That'll do it. The problem is we've told men to stop being heroes and princes to their sons and daughters. And so, Nat, I'm curious your thoughts about this. The other aspect of this is when we do these girl boss movies over and over and over, and that really started as Disney recognizing that their princesses were shallow. And the lesson that they took from that was not, we're going to fix the shallowness of our princesses. It was, they're going to become the warriors now. Okay, well, Xena was fun. Why don't we do that over and over again? Well, the unintentional problem with that is that if every girl is a girl boss, an invincible girl boss who conquers everything, she's already perfect and the world bends to her whims, what that means is the guy has no dragon to slay. There's no princess to save. There's no treasure to be had. and he's been told too, you're not worthy of having kids. You're not worthy because you're part of the patriarchy. And now the guys are not going on the adventures of their lifetimes, and that actually has an economic and down to the resolution of the family. It has a huge impact on the men.
And I think there's like 3 points I want to make. I'll try not to stretch it out too much.
Go for it, Nat. No, do not hold back, please.
On the first thing that I was thinking as I listened to Dave Ramsey there is the easiest way to be able to control the population, and this might be stretching it a bit too far, but is to demoralize them and to make them think that they cannot stand up for themselves. And who was usually the ones that were standing up and had that ability? It was the men. So if you can get the men to be demoralized, you have an easier time to do or implement things that you want to implement. So if you're trying to change society, I think you'd want to start by targeting the men. And also on the topic of fathers are incredibly important. I would say exponentially more important to little girls because they are what shows them what a partner treats their mother like and what a man actually should be like. And that is why good fathers are important, and being able to model that for young daughters that then will be able to look for that in a partner. And I think we also see a lot of the destruction of relationships and family because there hasn't been that push both in media but also within our own lives of having that strong father role and father figure and manly figure within women's lives as well. That was the second point. And thirdly, also the damage done to women themselves. And as you mentioned, having these girl boss, I can do everything characters are also demoralizing eventually for women. As much as people want to point at the empowerment of it all, once women go out there into the workplace or trying to have the life that they see reflected on screen or within society that tells them they have to be doing this, then they also get incredibly demoralized by knowing and figuring out that, no, you can't do it all. No, you can't. There are things that women can't do that men can, and there's things that men can't do that women can. And we've completely flipped over the script to the point where what women used to be really revered and able to do, they're now told not to do, but also they're told to go try and be a man essentially and fail at it. So it's also demoralizing once you realize that, no, you can't do everything and you can't do everything that a man can. And that shouldn't be a taboo either.
Right. And then the insidious, no, those are wonderful, amazing points. Yeah. And then the insidiousness too, that we've been living through of women are by virtue better than men, and men are dangerous to lead society. All this sort of stuff. It's like, people, this is very basics, both genders as a proclivity. We don't want to paint completely this way, right? It's not binary, but in terms of proclivities, the two genders express the darkness that we all have inside of us in different ways. Men tend to be physically violent. Women tend to engage in reputational destruction. Now, both genders can do that. Both sexes can do that. Men can attack and destroy others, in terms of their reputation. But as a general rule, men are more likely to go to fisticuffs, right? And so the idea that we've placed one half of humanity as better than the other, it can't be that way. This has to be a puzzle piece if we're going to be in harmony. And we've created a discontent and a disharmony amongst society with these stories. They have been poisonous. Culture, I'll give you the final word on it. But when we've gotten to the point now where Hollywood has been telling these stories, and we have a financial guru in Dave Ramsey, when we have financial people coming out now and saying, what we did in Hollywood has damaged the entire country, this went on too long. And people like Bob Iger, they have a debt here. Yeah. I don't know that they need to be punished, but they have a tremendous amount of guilt, I believe, that should be on their shoulders.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that that they were primary causes to massively damaged culture, setting men and women at odds. And it doesn't matter if it's just here in the United States. This is bleeding over into many other cultures and in many other countries. The extremism in education and the allowance for that has probably led us into a trap that it's going to be difficult to fight back against for a while. We're not supposed to be at odds. We're supposed to be in partnership between the men and the ladies. And again, by demonizing one side or the other, we've created additional divides. People are not having the same number of romantic entanglements that they did. They're having very destructive single action relationships. Whether you call it a situationship, or you talk about the various types of hookup cultures and things like that, that's something that maybe Dave needs to dive deeper into when he looks at this and evaluates it from a farther perspective, than just the narrow focus that he has with this particular set of comments. But I'm not being critical of Dave at all. In fact, I imagine with more academic pursuit by him, he could really nail this down. But the likes of our friend Jordan Peterson, who's in very ill health right now, and many other folks that actually work in this particular niche, which I don't think any of us do, I think that the larger conversation is that we need to recreate a unification of culture and of species. We need to remember there is no yin without yang, and vice versa. There's benefits if you look at the societal demographics of having a two-parent family household rather than to have a divided household. And it doesn't matter. The numbers aren't great when you have situations like this. And look, we have a real situation that one side of the equation's unbalanced, and I think it was encouraged again by if I wanted to destroy a culture, a society, a uniculture, I would destroy the masculine first, because then you lead into nothing but illogical processing, emotional processing of information, where men tend to be more logical and process through.
Well, nothing but I think is a little harsh there. I think he's easy culture on the.
No, I'm not being wrong. Hey, we have a lovely lady on here that's welcome to correct me, and I'll just say it this way. Men are logistical thinkers, ladies are emotional thinkers. There's no argument against it.
Within a certain range, yes. The range tends to, as a percentage, because everybody, there's a wide variety of psyches, personalities, proclivities within both genders. But if you were to look at and especially at the extremes, right? So if you're trying to find who is most likely within the gender to express the most extreme form of logic and abstract thinking, or who is most likely to express the most significant emotional processing, you would know which genders would express that at the extremes more likely. You're absolutely right. I just want to be careful, because there are guys who are very emotional and there are women who are very logical.
Sure. Well,
but I'll also say,
go ahead, please.
To quickly add to piggyback off of culture, I do think we've forgotten a lot about the biological roles that we have and the reasoning why we act in certain ways, and why women might be less logical and men have to be more logical, because it is ingrained, I do believe. And I think it's been also proven by figures like Jordan Peterson that it is ingrained within how we act and why we act the way we do. And
there are physiological differences in our brains,
and psychological ones.
There are hormonal differences in our brains, absolutely. And that doesn't mean that one is better or worse than the other. That is not the way it goes. I do want to wrap it up this way, and I see that the chat is just
on fire.
And that means we've done something right. It really does. When you do this, we've landed on the right thing to talk about today. But I want to say this: sometimes there's the criticism that what we're doing here is frivolous. Why are you talking about celebrities? Why are you talking about, this latest movie, and you won't get off of it? Like, who cares, right? Who cares that Ella McKay didn't make money? Who cares about Animal Farm? If you don't get it by now, I just don't know what to do. These stories, they structure lives. The more you love the story, the more it becomes a fabric of you. And some of the most important stories we call sacred, right? And scriptural. That's the kind of designation that people will do within religious thoughts. And some of those stories start to become part of that, or they approximate that to some degree. Some of the pop culture stories. So we need to be every day paying attention to this. Final thing I'll say on the topic as we wrap up is, as we've been talking about this, there is a danger. And the danger is, it would be very easy for us to leave the story for those who did not have a heroic father or a good father or a good mother. It would be very easy for us to end the story there. And we need to be careful to say, Folks, you have free will. I know some of you don't agree with that. Trust me, you do. The whole reason for entertainment is the idea that free will exists biologically. We'll go there one day, okay? But you can make decisions freely. They're influenced by your past, but they're not captured by your past. You can move forward in this world. So if you did not have these things we've been talking about, I just want you to know it's not the end. You're not predetermined to be stuck in that vicious cycle. Step out and take the adventure, whether you're a woman or a man, take the adventure, slay the dragons in your world, and become better than you were before. Well, I would say we have some super chats now.
Sorry about that.
No, it's not because of the length of the segment. It's because I think a lot of people have a lot to say, and we are here to support it. William Thompson for 2 says, one summer sizzle, and I'm boycotting this show.
You hear that, Pro? You hear that? The man with the hat.
What if I buy some Goodwill?
Clap it up, light it up, feel that roar. We shine brighter, we want more. Hearts in the stands, hands in the air, all for the name that we all share. WILTHOMPSON, William Thompson, that's our man.
He is our man indeed. Blind for 2, sizzle, baby. We shall see. We've got TB out there for 2. Can I gift a membership to Karen Hopkins? I would love, folks, if you could gift to your favorite folks out there in the chat. There was one time we tried. I think people gave like 200 memberships.
Yeah, it was like 4 times major like 50 membership things. That's like expensive. I think it's like $250. And
we've tried. I will tell you, we try to make it easy to give memberships on the Pro channel. Yeah. The entry level membership is only $3. We did that on purpose. We want you to be able to give more for that kind of fun. And then we ramp up the higher we go. But just know you can't gift to an individual. But we gift and we gift in the effort to make sure everybody turns from gray to green. DL Race, remember, for 4 months, when you have plot holes to destroy masculine heroes in franchises like Star Wars, then the reasons why these plot holes were overlooked needs to be brought into light of professional criticism. Wouldn't it be nice if there's a place like Rotten Tomatoes where that happened? Oh, wait, there is. It's called Criticless. We've got WJB Daily for 5. Dave Ramsey is worth checking out and tailoring his concepts into your life. Brilliant, family-centric, God-centered man.
Yes. Yeah, indeed. Like I said, I'm nothing but complimentary towards him. I think he does a great job.
Some might say he's better than we deserve.
Yeah.
We've got TP for 2. I noticed this starting in the 80s and 90s. It did, and you could start to see it with a strategy that Nickelodeon deployed in the mid-90s, early 90s with shows like Clarissa Explains It All. Yep. And it was fun and silly at that time, but it grew. It became something metastasized.
But Fox's first brilliant show was Married with Children, right? And so that's where we ended up with,
was that before The Simpsons?
I think so. I think they were maybe they were the same time.
Yeah. And Homer started off as an ignorant. Yeah, but he was a caring father. A lot of the early episodes, like Homer working 3 jobs so Lisa can have a pony. He started off that way, and later on he would devolve into a giant walking infant. But in the beginning, he was just a doofus of a man that really loved his kids, but didn't know how to express it.
Yeah, well, I mean, his treatment of Bart in the early episodes. If you just go back, you can look at the evolution of that character. Yeah, and look, same thing went for Married with Children. I mean, your favorite shoe salesman was beaten down, downtrodden by the world around him, and yet, despite all of that, he still went home every day to support his family, and and Peg and everything else. And it gave us 2 amazing actors and 2 other actors, and I really did enjoy the show. I still go back and watch them.
Culture, I'm gonna take a shot here. I'm gonna say that this name. I'm gonna get this right. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to bet you that this is the one and only Jason Wilburn. If I got that wrong, okay? If I get that wrong, so be it. But it's proof positive. Sometimes you just don't need vowels. Jason Wilburn, I believe, for 5. And you tell me, Jason, if I got that right. He's going to be like, no, it was obviously not that. It's Justin Wilburn
or Wellborn.
Wellborn. Justin Wellborn. Yeah.
Or it could be, like Jason Bourne.
Could be. Oh. Culture mentioned some of the humans he's worked with. Hey, we got it right. He says we got it. Jason, Culture mentioned some of the humans he's worked with. Has Culture worked with non-humans?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
he's a
I-
big friend of the aphids.
No, I mean, well, actually, technically, when you're gardening, you're
I
working
know.
with a lot of microorganisms.
I caught you off guard with that one. You were not ready to be a friend of the
No,
aphids.
I appreciate that. It's one of the most important things. You have to have your civil engineers under the soil. But no, I have worked with a lot of non-humans. I've done a lot of work on
Can we just
animatronics.
Say can we
and
say, Culture,
robots.
that you have worms?
Oh, I do. Oh my goodness, do I have worms? I have worms sign the likes of which even God has not seen.
You went full retard, man.
That was a quote.
You said you have worms. I don't care about the quote. You said you have worms. I didn't pressure you into it at all.
Oh, you mean like in my body? No, outside, yes, lots, tons.
I'm glad for the clarification. I was worried
Yeah,
about you.
I'm not a dog. What do you?
I thought, well, now I understand why he's so skinny. I get it now. Search YouTube for "My Dad is a Liar" commercial. Okay, we'll put it on the list. Thank you, Glenn. Now it's known. Hey, it's Mac, one of the greatest sources out there for two. The devaluation of dad exactly began with Homer Simpson, right? And that, by the way, happened in the later seasons. After about season 8, Homer takes a movement where he's just, an idiot. Just a total idiot. But the beginning seasons, he's not that way.
He wasn't that way, yeah.
Isn't
like
it the first
American
season-
Dad, too.
Isn't the first season all about him trying to take care of the dog? Like he makes the bad decision in the beginning, but he's trying to, Santa's little helper, the dog, and the Christmas
I love
special.
the dog.
It's been so long since I've seen that episode, but I think that's how it goes. Anyway. All right, we've got England again for 2. It isn't what you think from the title. Trust me. Oh, my dad's a liar. Okay, we'll check it out. WGB Daily for 2, Deconstruction of Family, bigger impact than the hero. I would struggle to differentiate that boundary.
Yeah, I'd say they go hand in hand.
Yeah, I think they're very similar. And in a lot of cases, that circle crosses at about a 90%. We got Bald Hoplite for $9.99. This one hits home. I'm not lazy. I do work. But the temptation of lethargy to just walk away and give up is real. Society disrespects masculinity and demean us men.
Yeah, and that's why you lean harder into your purpose, Bald Hoplite. As a man, when I was approaching retirement, I needed more purpose, bigger, larger purpose. My bigger, larger purpose is going to require me to move across the country and start a brand new farm and start a studio and start many other projects in order to fulfill a larger purpose. We at the end of the day, every human desires to leave behind them a legacy. Sometimes that can be an amazing family with 20, 25 members. Sometimes that's, creating, generational wealth. And sometimes that's leaving to the future something that would not be there without you. That's what legacy is. So you're 100% right. Lean further into your purpose, my friend, and you will be more satisfied, especially if you're a person of faith.
Well, to the 800 out there joining us across the TikToks, the Instagrammies, the X's, and everywhere else we might be, including the tube, I would just see if this fits for you. It fits for me. People say they want to be rich. People say they want to be rich, and they dream about
lots of types of wealth.
I could have steak every night. I could have lobster every night. But I'm here to tell you, if you become the kind of wealthy person who can afford lobster every night, it'll take about 7 days of having lobster before lobster starts to taste like cardboard and you're sick of lobster.
Yeah.
It turns out that what most people are actually starved for is meaning and purpose. And what I would recommend to you to try is see if this aligns your life in a way that brings you joy and actually puts yourself onto a better pathway wherever you are in life. Treat every moment as if it has divine consequence. Treat every person as if they have divine value. And if you do so, suddenly the world will start to put itself in this particular array in front of you that's different than anything before. And I'm the kind of guy, I'm pragmatic about this, right? If the hammer hits the nail and that's the best tool for it, I start to think maybe hammers are the right way to go about hitting a nail. And if treating other people as if they are divinely valuable and treating every moment as if it is of tremendous worth, if that starts to make your life be unbelievably better and the lives of others better and other people start to respond to you and look up to you even, you who wake up in the morning with stinky breath, I know you, and yet they start to try to emulate you and be like you and want to be around you, maybe that's actually right. Maybe it's actually objectively true. Bald Hoplite for $4.99. This is why I'm writing a fantasy sci-fi story to publish. It builds up masculine and real femininity. It will show the dynamics between both. Ooh, can't wait. Can't wait. The mom is back for 199. Power to the Niners. Pushback. What actually taken away was escapism. Yes, that too. We've also made it so that you, okay, wait. How about this? Mom, see if this is right. It seems to me that politics escaped its proper boundaries and invaded domains where it has no reason to be. And what that's done is it eliminated escapism, because let's say that you're a Democrat. Let's say that you're a classic liberal. And let's say that you once upon a time could go to a sports outing with a conservative friend. There was a point where it was said you can't do that anymore because everything became political, and we had to have all of these different anthems and all of these different virtue signals, even in sports. You couldn't go to the movies with somebody that you disagreed with. And what did that do? Well, it unglued, it untethered. And now when we talk about TDS, what we're really talking about is this person no longer keeps this idea in its proper boundary. And now Trump lives in their head as the orange Adolf. And all of a sudden your life goes off the rails, and you lose the relationships with other people who are just like, I just wanted to play Halo with you. I just wanted to go on a bike ride. TB for 2, I am so happy my parents were from the silent generation. One day they'll speak to you, TB. One day. I kid. It was a joke, okay? WJB, he has great parents. WJB Daily for 5. Fathers do not have to be a hero to be a great father. Providers, protectors, and leaders of family does not require a superpower of a hero. All right, so let me tell you what I mean by hero in this sense. And when I say this, I'm gonna let you in beyond the normal veil of who pro is, okay? When my son was born, I put my hand on my son's back almost immediately. And when the nurses took my son from my wife and placed him on the thing where he has to be weighed, I didn't press down. I don't want to give false reading, but I still let him feel my touch. And when it was time for him to go to the next thing and the next thing that he had to do, when, and mom has to be taken care of, I had people there to stay with my wife, but I stayed with my son with my hand on him. And the reason for that, for day one, and I think this is what the symbol, I'm not saying I'm the best father in the world, but I'm trying to tell you what I think a great father is, what a hero is. The idea is that no matter what happens in life, my hand will always be on my son's back. From day one, he knew what it was from moment one to be loved. And good fathers, what families need, what wives need, what girlfriends need, what sons and daughters need, they need to know that dad is going to do whatever it takes to be there, to never, ever quit. And if you're in danger, remember what's the movie with Liam Neeson? What is that movie where he does
Taken? Yeah, Taken 1, 2, 3, 12. Yeah.
You know why people love The Lion King? They're like, listen, this stuff is it's so unbelievably deep. It's so unbelievably deep. Why did people go watch The Lion King? Why is the 2019 version of The Lion King? Why is that movie so powerful to people? Because when Simba, and I'll have to be careful here, Pro doesn't get emotional. I could get emotional in this one. Because when Simba is down there in the wildebeest, when he has made a mistake, this is the prodigal father on steroids, right? When he's made a mistake, dad is coming. There you go. And if you're a good father, that's what you have to do.
Do you know? I had the benefit of having both a father and a stepfather, and I can tell you that there is almost no week in which I don't talk to both of them at least once, many times over. If you had a good father, decent chance, if they're still with us, you reach out to them on the regular, not just for perspective, but for camaraderie, companionship, conversation, and same thing with mothers. You're blessed with if you are blessed with two parents, you often find that they are part of your circle and decision-making process if they were good at it. And your perception of good over time as you age will change. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, make
If
sure you
you
do not
have-
lose touch with that.
If you have a good father, if you have a good mother, if you have good grandparents, whoever it is, you didn't do anything to deserve that.
Yeah.
You hit the lottery when you were born.
Yeah.
And so you need to consider that. And why is it so, why does it actually have, the way that we view the divine ramifications? Because how you portray yourself as a dad or a mom to that child, that sets the reality forth that there could be actually the idea of, and something beyond this mortal coil, dad is coming. That's why it matters so much. Kaylee out for 5, and that will change, by the way, the entire way you interact with the world.
Yeah.
Kaylee out for 5, Burgess Meredith did it best in a totalitarian society. Romney Wordsworth is condemned to death for the crime of being a librarian. The obsolete man. Thank you. Very well said. We'll go check it out. Hope you do too. John Maynard, member for 30 months. Matt Walsh said that he is getting bored talking about politics than he is more interested in getting into talking about culture. Well, I'm not talking about politics because so many people are talking about politics and I didn't want to fight and compete with all that. So, here we go. Welcome to the ring, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody get on in. The water's fine. We'll swim along together. DL Racer for 20. I will say, Matt is going to have to work on that video game view if he's going to hop in here. It's not going to go well. Snouts puts all these talking thoughts in a story that's inspired by real events and real people. And these people are led into the line of wisdom by example of their dogs, living in the happiness of the moment. Racer, I love the fact that you are working hard every day to build something, to create something. And I'm looking forward to the day that this is brought to fruition. I know that you are passionate about it. And it's the passion about telling these stories that really does matter. All right, folks, we're going to get through as many of these super chats as we can. We have a ton of them, and that means everybody's excited, and I am too. But we got more news. We'll go there in just a minute. England DG for 5. My daughter got her insurance license Monday. Ooh. I offered a celebratory meal of her choice, including a movie at the Dine and Screen. She chose Mickey D's. Got to get the chicky nuggets, right? Siani Reese has become a YouTube member at an even higher level. Welcome aboard, Siani. We appreciate you. England DG45. My point is, she could do the $100 meal and movie. Instead, she chose a 10-piece chicken McNugget meal. That reflects on what movies mean to her age group. I called it. Didn't even see that yet in time. I knew it was those McNuggets. Thinking Heretic for 2. Old as I Love Lucy, hiding things from her husband. Yeah, and some of those things, though, are, some of those things, I take the point, but some of those things were happening in a way that, it was a pastiche of what's happening every day amongst couples, right? So I don't harsh I Love Lucy too badly, because I think that both of those characters had their own flaws in the relationship and had their own positives. I never got the feeling that Arnaz was being presented as a doofus. So both sides can take their lumps. It's okay. Siani for 499. Hey, Pro, why is it only your live that I can't gift memberships? Geez, Louise, I don't know, but I hope you figure it out, because we need to turn that chat from gray to green. Siani, I appreciate that you're even interested in doing so. Hopefully those in the chat can let you know. Snarky might be able to guide you. Tender Warrior for 10. My mom married twice. I never had a real father. That did not impede me. I may have fatherless past, but my past doesn't have me. I'm a father figure, numerous kids with missing fathers. Hey, Warrior, we talked about this last night. I hope you heard it. I have a friend from Alaska who is in that same situation, never had a dad. And he watched Star Wars. And this is why it resonates with me so. He watched Star Wars and he loved the character of Luke because he identified with Luke. Luke had no dad. Luke got out there and took on the sins of the father and overcame them. So I congratulate you. You had a harder road to carry. And not only did you carry yourself along that better road, but then you went beyond and you became a father to others. That's incredible. And you deserve every good thing that can come your way for doing so. Very, very proud to hear that.
I think it's also important to know that there are a lot of men out there who grew up without fathers and women who grew up without mothers, but those that choose, some of the best fathers and potential fathers that I see out there in the world are those that have built themselves up to be able to fulfill that role that they never had, and they had that motivation to actually make it better for the next generation as well. So
one of the hardest things to accept, you're exactly right, Nat. One of the hardest things to accept as humans is that there is a benefit to going through hard things. Yeah. And that benefit is when you go through a hard thing, you become empathetic to others as they begin to go through hard things. it is very difficult to understand until you have gone through a crisis in your life. And the bigger crisis you go through and come out of that, the more you can carry. It's the same idea of going to the gym. Nobody wants a crisis. Nobody should be looking to create a crisis. But when you have a crisis, and not having a father is a crisis, when you have that crisis and you carry it and you overcome it, you are 2 times, 3 times, 4 times as strong as you ever could have even believed you would be. Echoes of the Ancient for 10. We need to write new stories. Let's get on it. I have started writing a young adult novel for males that is based in an ancient civilization. In this story, men are courageous. Women are respected. Those are the kinds of stories that build the fabric of a society that I want to be in. Let's do it. We've got D-Back out there for 5. I'm grateful to be a hero in my daughter's eyes. Happy Thursday to the panel and all the hero dads in the chat. And I'll add, too, to the mothers as well. Well done. Be good to the kiddos. Equus Heart for 10. It also affects single women like myself who do what the strong masculine man, who do want the strong masculine man, but modern society has beaten him into hiding, making it harder to find a possible mate. Exactly. Everybody loses. Yeah. And you all know this. We all know this. Have you ever been on a team before where 1 or 2 of the players are just ripped apart by the coach? How does that help the team, right? Now, there are times when a player just doesn't need to be on the team, and you understand that. But what does it do to everybody if let's say there's a player who's not that great and they constantly are praised, even when they do poorly, or that they always get to play, and you know that the player on the bench is better and they get ridiculed? What does it do? We all know this, and we did this at a society level. It's crazy. We can watch it happen in our own homes and towns and the little things that we do every day. Try it with millions of people. Yeah, I know what'll happen, and you do too now. DL Racer for 10. That's what Snouts lays bare for people to reflect upon in a way that's meaningful and spiritual. Keep on fighting, DL Racer. You can do it. Snarky Distinct Nugget in the Fudge Dora is dropping 5 WDW Pro memberships. Thank you, Snarky. We appreciate you. We've also got Woodsy out there gifting 10 WDW Pro memberships. Woodsy, thank you. And we're looking forward to all kinds of member stuff coming out this month.
Every time a membership is gifted, a content creator gets his wings.
Was that gendered language?
We're not at Magic Kingdom, Dad.
What are those?
These are my Spider-Man pajamas.
Let me rephrase that. Why are you wearing those?
Because my He-Man pajamas are in the laundry.
We've got Echoes of the Ancients for 10. I'm sick of superheroes. I want stories of men who don't have riches or superpowers and work hard for their families. Uncomplaining, resilient, like most men. That's right. That's right. And we need to build up men because there's nothing worse for our society than to build up pathological men. That is a horrible thing. You want to fill the jails? Take away the heroes from the kids. Take away the dads and then take away the heroes who might be substitutes for them. You want to build up all the kinds of jails? You want to put criminality on the streets? You want to have women scared to go outside? Go for that. That'll do it. Build up resilient, kind, good, gentle, caring, strong men who know when it is appropriate to be strong and to go into protection mode. Mega Day for 5. My dad is an amazing dad, and even though he has cancer and it's not looking good, the things and values he taught and gave me will always be with me. Your dad, your amazing dad, Mega Dave, will never leave you. Never, ever, ever. Even death cannot separate you from a good dad. Bruce Newhouse for $4.99. They say that God doesn't give you anything that you can't handle. I only wish God didn't have such a high opinion of me. That's a similar refrain that many say. One more thought on the good dad thing, and then we've got to hit the next news item. I'll tell you this, a story from Pro's past. When I was a very little boy, I'm going to say that I was about 3 years old, there was a property that sometimes my family would go to, and on this property there was a well. And it was a dry well, but it was a well out in this very rural area. And we had been told, stay away from that that space, but you know that 3-year-olds don't understand. And so me and a bunch of other kids were in a completely different area, playing, and the grown-ups had stepped away, and this was filled with a variety of different aged kids. And I, as little pro, wandered over to where the well was. This is a real story. This is not fake. And I fell into that well. And as I was falling, however this happened, as a little 3-year-old or 4-year-old, I don't know the exact age, but it was about that place. I caught the edge of the concrete for this well. And I think it was covered with something. Your memories are very fuzzy at that time. But I think it was covered with something. So it's not like I fell, I stood on this thing and fell, and I grabbed the concrete. And I had a cousin who would have been about 9 or 10 at the time who saw this. And I am hanging on to the concrete. Real story again. And no telling, I think it's over if I fall from that. And my cousin ran to the grown-ups. And I don't know how fast a dad can go. I don't know how fast a man can run. But as fast as a man can run, my dad was coming at that speed and swooped. You know what it means to swoop, right? Like in a single motion that makes you wonder, how can the human body even do that? Swooped in and grabbed me up, and little pro still remembers as a grown-up being swooped up into that hold, right? And so remember, folks, why do we watch The Lion King? Why does it mean so much at the end when Darth Vader, what a silly thing, right? To watch a man in a helmet, what is it that drives us to watch it? The very end, he pushes the emperor down the tunnel. Mufasa risks everything. He will lay down his crown to save Simba. What is it we're looking for in those stories? We're looking for the true dad. We're looking for the idea that when we're in trouble, dad is coming for us. Ladies and gentlemen, the billionaires are leaving New York City. It's a similar refrain we've heard in the past. California has gone insane. They're sending their folks out too, but the commies have taken over, well, both sides of the coast, and New York is one such location. Take a look at this. Out of the New York Post, billionaire bigwigs launch New York City exodus after Mamdani's tax the rich antics. And they needed a lot of people to write this one. Craig McCarthy, Charlie Gasparino, we love Charlie, Carl Campanile, Haley Brown, and Matt Troutman, all diving into this story, and it's huge. There they go, Zoe. Billionaire bigwigs Ken Griffin and Mark Rowan are taking thousands of jobs out of the Big Apple and setting their sights elsewhere as a direct consequence of Mayor Mamdani's tax the rich antics, stoking fears that a big money exodus is underway. Mamdani poked Griffin in a recent social media video that used the hedge fund titan's record-breaking $230 million Midtown penthouse as a backdrop to drum up support for a proposed tax on luxury second homes in the city. You know what that means. Goodbye celebrities, goodbye entertainment moguls, goodbye Silicon Valley second homers. An appalled Griffin first threatened to scrap a $6 billion Park Avenue development for his Citadel hedge fund, then told CNBC on Tuesday that the creepy video spurred him to expand his firm's hub in Florida. We will add far more jobs in Miami over the next decade as an immediate and direct consequence of the mayor's poor decision here, with respect to his posting of that video, Griffin said. Griffin's rich reprisal is exactly the pull up the stakes move that many New York leaders, including Governor Hochul, have publicly and privately warned Mamdani's rabble-rousing will inspire. It's almost like we understood this culture. It talks about the stick it to the rich idea that Mamdani's been a part of. How could we have possibly seen this coming? They voted for it, and now they're fleeing for it culture. And when they flee from places like California and New York, unfortunately, they take these bad ideas with them. Culture, I think that what we're seeing right now is not only an exodus of the influential class, the very rich and powerful, but I think that it's going to reshape the media in the United States. I think that these studios and these content creators, and by the way, the new media is far bigger now. The YouTubers are bigger than Hollywood. I think that it's sending out the content creators not only across the world, but across the fruited plains of the United States, places like Nebraska, Oklahoma, Montana, Idaho, New Mexico, people in their basements, people in their attics, but also now the very successful are leaving the traditional locations where media was made. What do you make of it, Culture?
Well, I make of it like people realize or recognizing that this has been tried before. And as they watch repeated example after repeated example, they realize there's no good way for this to end. You know, the grocery store, one of the first grocery stores that was tried at NYC is already, out of business. These have always been and will always be bad ideas, and representative countries still exist like Colbert and places like that. And, eventually they all succumb to the failure and they have to rebuild, but they have, weakened their populace around them. This is happening at a state level now, unfortunately, with some very poor leadership, and in individual pockets, believe it or not, there's an infestation in Texas happening right now. But, you can base it around, whatever the extremist ideology is, and you can point to, specific groups that help to create this. You have people who migrated to this country, maybe legally, maybe not, that are, working adversarially against the United States from the inside, whether that's in the U.S. or maybe, in either of these states or in another state, like let me suggest Minnesota or other places. They're undermining the very country that they promise to live by the rule of law. And the problem is we do not see the ramifications of the contempt with which they hold the very country they're in until too much later. We have delayed justice for these situations, and that's bad. No more was this represented than in this particular article you just brought up, than in the debate for California governor. And it exposed just the audacity of people like Porter and many others that, are just reprehensible characters.
Well, let's talk about that, because it's not just New York City Culture.
Yeah,
it's not just they're fleeing New York. It's California. And these candidates for governor, they're trying to save Hollywood right now. How are they trying to save Hollywood? Well, in this debate on CNN, what did they all say? Said no cap on free money for the studios. The strategy here is insane. They're not willing to create a better state. They're not willing to make a better economy. They're not willing to drop the bad policies. Now they just say unlimited, not power, although similar, unlimited money. We'll just give buckets. How much money you need? You need $1 million? You need $1 billion? Folks, what does unlimited mean? You need $1 trillion? How much do you need to make a movie that will have no audience? We're here for you. It's like, there is no winning here if you give unlimited taxpayer money to movies and endeavors that have no audience. That is just, you might as well burn the money. In fact, I dare say that might actually warm a hobo somewhere. So that's better for that one, eh? Burn the cash. Nat, they've lost their minds and they're unwilling to say, we've made a mistake. We have an ideological flaw here. And all of this entertainment is fleeing to Texas, to Florida, to Tennessee, to North Carolina, to Nevada. I can keep going with where the new media locations are going to be, but it's gone from New York and California now. It's gone, and they're offering free. Hey, studios, you want a lottery where you win every time? Make it make sense, Nat. How does this work for them?
I think it's the cognitive dissonance they have to be able to uncomprehend the destruction that they've caused. They can't really look at what they've really done, because then they'd have to admit that they were wrong and that it is because of their policies and the failed policies that they continue to try to uphold and enact. Eventually, you will run out of other people's money, especially if you're trying to just throw it wherever you can and are not judicious with how you and where you spend it and what is worth it and what isn't. They'll continue to try to throw money at it, but people have, as Culture was saying, people know the examples of these kinds of policies and where it eventually ends up. So they leave because it's the best for the business. And within a capitalist system that is the US, you still, and most people that are in business, and Hollywood at the end of the day is a business, do see that and do, as much as they want to continue to enact the policies, they're going to do what's best for them and their pocketbook in the end.
Well, here's the other thing too. So if you're the U.S. government, you actually can cheat. Like our Congress cheats all the time. Now that would be an hour-long discussion, okay, about printing money and how the currency works and all that. Okay, but the feds can print money. And I know not every country can do that, right? So that's why I say, in quotes, the U.S. cheats a little bit on this. The states are not that way. So the idea that California is going to give unlimited, uncapped money to the studios to make movies that people don't want to go see, because if people want to go see it, they wouldn't have to do this, right? You don't need government assistance if you're successful. It's crazy, right? Elon Musk isn't out there begging the U.S. government, please give me some free food stamps, please, right? Elon Musk doesn't do that. Some people need it. Elon Musk doesn't. Why? He's extraordinarily successful. Jeff Bezos, you can like him, you can hate him. Zuckerberg, right? You can like him, you can hate him. They don't need food stamps. These studios don't need government assistance, except for they're losing badly in the marketplace. Okay, but culture, there's not unlimited money for New York. There's not unlimited money for California. So how do you pay if you have a finite supply of capital, AKA the money that the taxpayers give you? If you have a finite supply, how do you give an infinite supply to the studios who don't deserve it?
You're going to use fraud yourself to reallocate it from the nation, the entire country. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've seen that in many instances for the state of California. Currently, as of earlier in 2026, they have a very negative situation happening in the state of California. Their budget proposed currently for 2026 was $348.9 billion for 26-27. That includes a resolved $2.9 billion deficit they're currently carrying. They hold $23 billion in reserves, including $14.4 billion in rainy day funds, if it's still there. We don't even know if it's been rated as of right now. But the current state government debt is around $112 billion, and roughly $265 billion in unfunded pension liabilities. So if you want to look at a $500 billion deficit in what they're responsible for, they're liable for, that's a successful state. The policies have been fantastic.
So let me see if I understand this right. I think I do, and I think we're all on the same page here. What we're suggesting is, obviously you can't pay limitless money, but what you could do is you could promise it. So if you're California and you're a failing state, right, and maybe San Francisco with the few moguls that remain doing the AI stuff, maybe they'll save it. Who knows? But you're not being well managed. People are fleeing. Your population is decreasing, especially when you remove out illegal immigration. In New York, same thing. You can't give away unlimited money. Everybody knows it. So then maybe what the play here is, we're going to subsidize entertainment that nobody wants, knowing that this will bankrupt us, but also knowing that the federal government will come in and save us, because one day we're going to have our people in power at the White House, and they're going to come in and unload the free buckets of money the feds can make so that we can keep paying the studios to make propaganda, and we won't be held accountable for any of this because we've gamed the whole system. This is like playing chicken with a terrible consequence if they don't get in the White House and control it. They're essentially going to bankrupt their states with the belief that eventually they can just get the free money again. And it's for entertainment studios. This is nutso. This is nutso. Because think about this. Nat culture. Anybody who wants to go with it. If you're a politician, you could offer the same thing for housing. You can say everybody gets unlimited money. Everybody, not just the studios. Why are the studios special? Why in the world are the people the celebrities with their diamond-crusted swimming pools and their golden toilet seats? Why would they get the unlimited money, and the person who is nearly starving, right, with a one-bedroom, can't afford an apartment, why don't they get the unlimited money? Let's just give everybody the unlimited money.
Well, because the celebrities carry the message, and they are the spokespeople for being able to keep those that want to be in power. That's why.
Exactly. But it's all so calloused, and it's right there for us to see it. Once you understand they can't print free money, but the feds can, you understand what the play is. And they're doing it to save Hollyweird, because Hollyweird refused to make the stuff that people want to see. Again, why do we do this on this channel? because the ramifications are so insanely huge. It's crazy what we've gone to. And nobody seems willing to back down. The candidates in California, the mayor in New York, these candidates, they don't disagree. They're not arguing with one another. They're all in unison saying, yeah, as much money as they need. We gotta keep the studios here. As much money. I say let's do a quadrillion. Why stop at a trillion? Let's go to, is there a bajillion? If there is, let's do that too. Super chatters are the stars of the show. Let's see what they have to say. And Joppy, we love seeing you. It makes us feel good knowing that you're able to send in the super chats. Joppy for 100 crowns says, I need to dispel this misunderstanding. The purpose to get rid of the weak of the flock is primal. That's why teams can trigger the instinct to bully the weak. What happens society-wide is different. Joppy continues. Society-wide, they overwhelmingly signaled anti-male sentiments. They literally showed consequences over and over for males in mass. It made normal males back off due to fear, while the lesser thans, he calls them a-holes, don't care. Joppy finishes it by saying, so the ones intended to be eliminated from society just got more women to choose from, while the normal males who got scared to make mistakes and be shunned for it. All right, so let's talk about that. More broadly, let's use an example. Bob Iger, okay? Now, he's married to one woman. We assume it's one woman and whatever, okay? However, when it comes to power, which is what drives a lot of these guys, remember that Bob Iger set up a system at Disney, and this was called out by that Park Place, investigated by the federal government, cited in one of their reports from the FCC.
Yeah.
Bob Iger set up a system, and his board, his sycophants, set up a system at Disney where the more people not like Bob, the company hired, right, not straight white males, everybody else, if they hired those people, everybody not like Bob got more money. So, Joppy, you're exactly right in some regard. The system that was set up by the elites, because they never think it's going to come to affect them, was treat others not the way I want to be treated, and then I will reward myself for being virtuous by having sent you out to do so. That was the plan. That was the plan. I would also say that when it comes to the sheep and when it comes to eliminating the weak of the flock, actually what their plan was to take out the number twos, the second most powerful, which is actually more important if you're trying to assimilate power. The weakest of the flock, who cares, right? Now, we care because we believe in the dignity of every person in the flock. That said, if you want power, take out number two, because number two is the biggest threat to you. So if you're a Bob Iger, or if you're somebody in Hollywood, or if you're somebody in politics, take out number two, and number three is far less likely to try to mess with you. And then reward yourself for doing so. And then try to get the weakest to be even weaker so that you can be a hero, not because you got stronger, but because relative to you, you weakened the rest of everyone nearby. TB for 2. Stalingrad, New Yorkistan should be their new name. I want to pronounce that now with a new accent. Stalingrad, New Yorkistan. Yes, it's a great place to live. You will love it. Statue of communism. She is a beautiful lady. We've got Patrick Genoway for 5. California treats the entertainment industry as a cash cow. They're actually slaughtering it rather than nurturing it. That's right. And they are going to strap the IV to the cow. They've already killed it, but that's not good enough. They're going to shock it, and they're going to keep that cow standing, baby. They're going to keep that cow standing just so you don't know they slaughtered the cow. Look at it. It's alive. Put your tongue back in, dead cow. Snarky the Stink Nugget for 5. Washington was once a business behemoth. Long-term lopsided leadership and bad policies has some of the biggest societal drivers are leaving. Yes, Washington, if you look at Washington, D.C., if that's what we're talking about, I assume it is, we're not the state. D.C. has some of the most expensive real estate around. How is that? How could that be? How could some of the most expensive neighborhoods be, politicians and government workers? Oh, wait, it's lobbyists. And I wonder if some of that lobby money goes back to the same people that they're supposed to be influencing, a.k.a. the lawmakers. Bet so. England for 2. I want an HRB between Culture Casino and Marx. Beard battle. Would you do it?
I think I win.
I think you do too. We've got gifted memberships again from Patrick Genoway, turning the chat from gray to green. Thank you, Patrick Genoway. We appreciate you. And finally, we've got TB out there becoming a YouTube member. Welcome aboard, TB. It's good to have you at that new level. Jobby is out there saying, I meant when you talked about men being men, it's what caused the kind strong men to disappear because they got punished for being strong and kind. So now there's only kind or strong. That's true. That's definitely true. And you can't be both, eh? Can't be both. They won't allow that. All right, folks, let's talk about one of those definitely not strong men and definitely not kind men, someone who has brought the end to an entire genre of entertainment. It's breaking right now. Right now. Come on, StreamYard, do the thing. Hey, Culture, could you kick something for me? Just kick it. Stephen Colbert is near the end, and he might be taking down Late Night with him. Yes, Kimmel is daring Disney to fire him. Look at this giant picture we've got on the Hollywood Reporter of Colbert. Look at that guy. Look at that guy. What is he in? What is this thing? I don't know. What has 4 steering wheels? Anyway, 3 steering wheels. Who knows? Who knows? Gotta love the coffee. Great Starbucks. The Stephen Colbert exit interview, I did not expect it to end this way. Well, you know, it's funny, because Stephen, we did. Lacey Rose is the author. As The Late Show nears its final bow, the host opens up about the cancellation that shocked the industry, the win of going out as a martyr, and pay attention because that's the narrative Jimmy Kimmel wants too, and his next act in Middle Earth. Sure he will. When Stephen Colbert landed The Late Show in 2015, he received 2 notable calls. One from David Letterman, whom he'd be replacing, the other from Letterman's rival, former Tonight Show host, Jay Leno. Quote, Jay called me right away, and he was lovely, says Colbert, as he slips into a Leno impression, which I will not do. He goes, hey, you got the Pope job. You got the job till you're dead. And then he says, well, you were wrong on that one, Jay. The irony here is that he still will not admit, although I think he does recognize, he will not admit.
What defines the modern athlete?
Well, there's some audio, eh?
No. Athletics are not.
Where's that audio coming from? You guys hear the audio? Oh, it's down here. Hush, ad. We don't need you right now. Okay, back to the story. Here's the deal. And we'll get that off the screen too. Here's the deal. He's not willing to recognize he actually got fired from the unfireable job. Like, he managed to do that. He doesn't recognize it. It's somebody else's fault. It's the changing, dynamics. It's the world is different. No, it's not. You had an unfireable position. Nobody could get rid of you, and you managed to do it. You know, it's incredible. It's like falling up. Somebody says you can't fall up, you can only fall down. You're like, I'm so incompetent, I'll figure it out. I'll defy physics, baby. And that's where we are with Colbert. Let me go to Nat first on this one. We'll read more of the story, but Nat, it's amazing to me, and I think Kimmel's going to be the same way. They need to be the martyrs because they need that narrative for wherever they're going next. They can't be the failures we know they are.
Exactly. And speaking of masculinity, this just proves that it has been quite damaged at this point, that Stephen Colbert himself, feels the need to continue to victimize himself because that is the only way he can get any sort of attention.
Absolutely. Culture, we're gonna be covering, of course, Kimmel trying, I think, to get fired. He wants to go the Colbert route, maybe. And let's see what he says here. If we go down, it says, last July, Colbert looked straight to camera and announced that his 11th season of The Late Show would be his last. CBS, whose parent company, Paramount, was in the midst of a closing of a multi-billion-dollar merger with David Ellison Skydance that required the Trump administration's approval, insisted it was a purely financial decision. But the choice to cancel the number 1 show on late night raised more than a few eyebrows, particularly as it came just 2 weeks after Paramount had agreed to pay Trump $16 million to settle a controversial lawsuit over a 60 Minutes interview. As if they just wanted to do that. Like, no, I think they had to, right? You don't give away free money. Culture, again, let's hit them with the facts here. What's amazing is Colbert was losing reportedly $60 million a year, $40 to $60 million a year on this show. Yeah. They have now turned around and sold this. I don't remember if you know the comedian that they've sold it to. He's going to pay them.
Byron Allen, he's a media ownership guy, and it's Byron Allen, I believe, specifically. Right, they're acquiring his shows. Yeah.
Byron Allen is paying them. And I think it's undisclosed how much he's paying them,
Yeah.
but he's paying them to have his own version of the late night in that slot, and he's going to bring in comedians. And he knows he's going to make money off of it too, so everybody's winning. What that means, culture, is whether it's $40 or $60 million that they were losing with Colbert, if they're making $20 million off of it, if that's how much they're charging, we don't know how much they're charging. It's like an $80 to $100 million, depending on how this goes. $80 to $100 million swing. And THR and the rest of these wackadoodle propagandists won't just come out and say, this is $100 million wing for Paramount to get rid of you, you loser. You lost an unfireable job. You ran everybody away. You're getting 1/6 of the viewership of your predecessor. You're getting 1/12, 1/15 of what Johnny Carson used to do. And they're going to make $80 million by just kicking your keister out the door. I think they struggle to frame this the right way, culture.
Yeah, I think that's true. You know, the featured lineup for this guy's replacement is called Comics Unleashed. And there's a whole plan behind what's going to happen back here. They're not accurately or honestly framing this, although I don't expect a lot of intellectual honesty out of the trade publications. But he's paying to collect the advertising revenue, of which he's going to make more than what he's paying. Now, originally, believe it or not, Byron Allen wanted to acquire Paramount originally before Skydance, offering up to $30 billion. So he's been wanting to become a bigger part of the media empire for a long, long time. So, but this is a huge deal. I mean, this shifts late night into an actual place that it should have been, an entertainment fall asleep kind of an opportunity. Colbert put you asleep for the wrong reasons. And he was also highly political, which a producer suggested to him. If you go back and read the background on that moment, it changed forever the direction of late night television. And Kimmel shortly followed. And Fallon was the only person to try to avoid that same trap. And he suffered for it in the ratings. So, look, I mean, I don't have the easy answers here. I always have the unkind truths, but look, this was a failing program that employs 200 people who now no longer have a job as of the 21st of May, if I'm not mistaken. Might be the 23rd or the 27th, but I do believe it's the 21st. And you know what? Bye. Good riddance. Enjoy. You have a nice retirement. I do not believe that these people, as they go out in their martyrdom, are going to be rehirable. Pro, do you think I'm wrong?
Oh, no. Well, here's how they're playing this. Here's how they're pretending. It says Colbert's unexpected ouster. We scooped it. We predicted it. We called it here, folks, many days ahead of time, and you all appreciated that, I think. It's only unexpected to the propagandists. Yeah. Baghdad Bob at the Hollywood Reporter. It's that he is now able to be intimately involved in co-writing an installment of the Lord of the Rings film franchise. The project is already 6 years in the making. How are you still writing the thing 6 years in? What is this, the Ray movie?
Actually, I think it's the Tower of Terror movie that ScarJo's involved in.
Yeah. And a lifelong dream for the self-proclaimed superfan. And although he isn't ready to sign on to any other projects just yet, he began fielding scripts immediately after he announced his late show chapter would conclude. He'll make a reappearance on Rick and Morty. Yay. Here's the deal. Colbert's job is to come in to the studio and read the jokes and do the rehearsed conversation with the actor. That is his job. The reason this show was losing $40 to $60 million per year, as reported, is because Stephen Colbert came in and had probably 100 people on his staff do all the work, and his job was stand there, read the joke in a funny way, and talk to the famous person. And he failed at that. I got a feeling that if my job, if Pro's job was come in and read what's been written for you, I bet I could still work on Lord of the Rings. So this the whole thing is a canard. The idea that, he was just working too hard. He needed to quit to write the Lord of the Rings thing. Sure he did. 6 years in the making. They still don't have a script. Okay. Last thing I want to talk about this Stephen Colbert deal is Jimmy Kimmel. Colbert's going out a martyr. Kimmel wants to go out a martyr. Kimmel is going to do whatever it takes to be a martyr. What is Disney to do? Because we've heard, and we can't confirm this, but we've heard that Disney has essentially said, please, Jimmy, stop being so mean. And you know that's not going to work because, well, he wants to be a martyr. Jimmy Kimmel is going to go out the way Colbert did, and he's going to assure that happens. What do you two think about the timeline here? How long does Disney have before Kimmel forces them? Because I kind of think it's going to go just after the midterms. Like, I think he wants to be there for the midterms. And then I think about January of next year. Kimmel is going to do whatever it takes to force Disney to fire him so that he can be like his buddy Colbert and have the martyr narrative.
I mean, they can continue to play the game of chicken, but at the same time, they're just losing money and deciding to continue to try to prop this guy up. And I also think the format itself, as you've kind of mentioned, of late night might be over by now, and it's best for Disney to realize that. But I think, as you say, they're just going to continue saying, please, don't do anything bad. We'll see how he handles the midterms if he does want to save for them. And then the results as well, because that could also give him more fireable offenses where he can say things that would get him fired.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but all of his power goes away if they just move him to Disney minus or Hulu Disney minus. It solves all their problems.
You keep saying that. He doesn't need to be on Disney. He needs to be on Hulu.
By the way, well, Disney Minus is the perfect platform because nobody cares anymore. The only thing on there people care about is Bluey.
You want Kimmel next to Bluey. I mean, how much must you hate that poor little dog?
I do. I love Ludo Studios. I think that as soon as they can get their licenses back, they should reacquire them because there are going to be other people who could pay way more.
I cannot imagine punishing Bluey with having Bluey be next to Kimmel.
It's not punishing Bluey. It's punishing Disney. Disney deserves what you get what you deserve in the end. And look, I'm going to say something to the audience now. First of all, Pro used a remarkable word. He called the action by the trade magazine a canard. A canard is a leading wing. It's an engineering marvel that produces lift despite a lack of thrust. And it's something that's used on leading edge airplanes like the Long EZ and a lot of other project planes. But you can actually have a very impressive angle of attack because you don't have to come at it with great speed. And that's a perfect description for the lack of thrust or speed that Colbert actually is able to maintain. So well done, sir, on many fronts.
Well, I appreciate that. A wordsmith I may be, but a martyr I am not. I don't want to be like Kimmel. I don't want to be like Colbert. I love doing what I do, folks, and we do it for you. But that's the story. Disney's got a hard decision to make because this is a ticking time bomb. Colbert was. Now they're retroactively going back and saying, well, he gets to make Lord of the Rings. It's like, yeah, he gets to go out in humiliation. He was a loser. A loser, losing Paramount. The equivalent when you include the opportunity cost, something like $80 to $100 million. He's an $80 to $100 million leech. That's the story. He managed to beat logic. He proved Leno wrong. You can be fired from an unfireable job. Well, folks, we're having a good time. We're having a great time, and it's because you're out there with us. England DG for 2. The Jon Stewart Empire is collapsing, finally. You know who I appreciate who escaped all this too is Steve Carell. Steve Carell was on the Jon Stewart thing, and he managed to parlay himself into something bigger, broader, better. You know, I don't know his politics. I'm sure he's liberal, but he's beloved by everybody. He doesn't have to have TDS nonstop. You know, what a well-played career for Steve Carell. Way to go, buddy. We've got Snarky for the Fudge Dora in the $10. Wait, were those prepositions reversed? Maybe. Where did Boeing, Microsoft, Amazon, and Starbucks, etc. get their start? I was referring to my home. I feel for Boeing. They should leave. Wish they would. I would leave too. Yeah, Washington State is in a rough place, as is Oregon, as is California, as is New York, and can these places pull out of the doom cycle they're in? I think that California and New York are far and away beyond. Even if places like Washington, Oregon are struggling, Washington is more than just Seattle, and Oregon is more than just Portland. California, though, is so far down this rabbit hole, I don't know how you get out, because the politicians have created power structures that make it difficult to bring a conservative back in ever. And you need both sides fighting each other so that you can have account. You can hold them to account. When both sides aren't viable, when only one side is in power, that's when corruption happens. It would happen on either side, by the way.
Well, I mean, obviously, all the redistricting in California that happened early, like combined districts that certainly didn't have the same relevant political structures or power bases. And again, they carve these districts up in a way that it really does create just like almost a unitary functional government at that point. And they wield unilateral power with authoritarianism as a certain part. In California, I witnessed it firsthand. So the coastal areas of California are very liberal, but the more inland areas, like especially the farming communities around Indio and places like that, those are conservative people. The same thing happens at national level too, whether it be Canada or Mexico or many other places around the globe, right, Nat?
And I mean, speaking of Canada, they have a whole province trying to leave because of
Alberta.
the types of things that they've been doing. Exactly. Alberta is working real hard to become independent in its own country because of what Canada did.
So they'll never let it happen. They will never. It doesn't matter what the vote is. They're never going to let it happen, because if it happens, other parts of Canada will say, "Whoa, wait a minute, we'll hop on that bandwagon too."
I don't know that they can stop it. I don't know that they can stop it, and especially if President Trump says, "Oh no, we'll help you support your defense," and again, we've already negotiated a fresh pipeline. So if Canada does not want to take care of their citizens, go ahead.
I don't know if we want a balkanized Canada. Okay, so I don't normally do this on the show, but geopolitically, I don't know that the United States wants Canada to be divided up into 4 or 5 different countries. And you already have the cultural divides with the French, anyway. Well, because it's harder to deal with Canada than if it's 5 different countries.
No, it's easier to deal with them because the leverage is all going to be on Alberta's side for every trade deal. And, with a close relationship with the United States, it does make current leadership that, does not live anywhere near the reality that is Alberta. It strips them of any kind of legitimacy. And the more you delegitimize, especially the previous leader, but most especially the incredibly compromised Carney right now, the better off we are, Pro. I'm just going to say it, just looking at it geopolitically, when you step back and you look at a map, if you can strip away any kind of leverage from the people who are increasing social programs at the expense of Alberta's economy, they're not getting back what they put in. It's like states that are providing to any federal government or province providing to any federalized government. If you're not receiving the same value with which you provide, you're not having adequate representation at any level, and that's where Alberta is suffering right now.
Well, and really quickly, like the rest of the provinces that are thinking also about the same thing. If they break away from Canada, they already have a much better trading relationship and would want a much better trading relationship
Saskatchewan,
with the US, Saskatchewan, BC. The non-insane parts.
I still feel badly about this. I feel like things didn't fall apart in Canada until Katy Perry, and I feel responsible.
No. Castro's son was the beginning of the end, honestly.
I feel we've done. But Meghan Markle, we're for Harry. TB has gifted another pro membership. Thank you, TB. We appreciate you. Spring 91 Bear, aka the Cherokee for $2. Piker. No, that would not be cheeky. We've also got Archer Merchant for $5. Hollywood is the panicky swimmer they warned about. They start taking others down. With them, and beware the Zegler Cynthia sharks. Those are toothless sharks, I promise. They're going to be very skinny little sharks. Flying blind on a rocket cycle for $4.99 for the goal thingy. Hey, guess what? We hit the goal. We'll celebrate in just a minute. England DG for $2. Wrong culture. Carnage leads the Sky Pirates. Tailspin. Whoa. Tailspin. Whoa,
there you go.
Oh. And we've got Flying Blind on a rocket cycle for $4.99. That's right, folks. It's goal time. Thank you so much. You helped us hit it. We win it every day. because of you.
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts!
All right, Nat, as I get the promotion ready for the Patreon I put out in the chat, would you mind to tell the folks out there about your channel and why they should be subscribed today?
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me back on. We've been talking a lot about, funnily enough, Alberta's independence and about what's going on in Canada as well. But we also cover other geopolitical, I would say, topics and entertainment here and there as much as I can.
Fantastic, phenomenal. And folks, you can get a hold of those Patreons right now in the chat. If you're over on X or somewhere else, you'll have to go to YouTube to see it, but we've got it for you in the chat right now. The link is there. 1 free month of Patreon. Join it, and we will keep you ahead of the culture curve with even spicier stuff there than we can do here. And remember, where was the first place we talked about the Star Wars scoop? Now with like 40 million views on the thing, on the Patreon. We've got TB for 2. Missed my other super chat. Oh my, did we miss another super chat? Let's see. Hang on just a minute. Culture, I'm going to find that sucker. We never leave a super chat behind. I'm going to look for it right now. Culture, as I do, would you tell folks out there what's coming up on that garden place?
Sure, that garden place, you're going to get a chance to take a look at how to plant white Dutch clover and why. It's a wonderful cover crop. It fixes nitrogen in your soil. It rebuilds soil structure. And if you have tough soil, it's a great thing to plant to break it up so that you can plant things there in the future. So you're always building your soil, especially if you grow row crops like corn and things like that. But after your corn has reached its first 4 full leaves, you can then throw down and broadcast this cover crop. It will not interfere with the growth. It'll do nothing but build up the land over time. In fact, interplanting it in a lot of these situations is great, especially if you grow hay crops like alfalfa. So I'm just going to, like I said, I'm just going to continue to teach you how to build up your soil so that your nature's little engineers are doing the work and not so much you.
By the way, I am not seeing, despite looking very intensely to find it, I am not seeing it TB on our side. So I'm going to ask the mods to help. Mods, if you're there, Juliet, if you could help us, please post for us what that super chat was. It's not showing on our side, and that means we can't put it on the screen. So if you can find it, mods, we would greatly appreciate that from you. All right, as we get ready to dive in, Culture, you threw me for a loop there. Remember, folks, we are doing the Legacy this Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern right here on the channel. The Legacy, where we'll be raising money for a good cause. Trust me, you want to be here. 9 p.m. tomorrow. Be here. Do not be square. All right, we're going to read one more super chat from Joppy, and we're waiting for TBs to be found. We'll read one more from Joppy, and then we've got the Lightning Lane folks. We're going to hit 2 stories as we get ready to wrap up this show of excellence and drop another one in the can. Speaking of which, Culture, as you were talking about soil and building up your soil, I had an idea for a motto for that garden place.
Okay.
That garden place. Go soil yourself.
Sounds as good as let's all take a whiz or whatever we saying about the fake wizard.
Real whiz. Yeah. What do we? Let's see. What was the whiz in the cup? Oh, a whiz in every cup. That was his soda brand.
Yeah, that's great coffee brand. Great coffee. Coffee and tea.
Joppy for 100. Oh, it better not be green tea. That's going to be weird. Joppy for 100. Canada's economy can be blamed on one thing in its root, the golden visa for students. The university students pay to get the visa, and then many leave after they're done. Nat, I'll have to go to you on that one. Your thoughts on it?
Well, eventually Canada, that's kind of what I did, but not on purpose. I went to study there. I lived there for 13 years. I went to university there. And then because of the shift in all what Canada meant happened, I ended up leaving and going back and coming back to Mexico. So in a way, in a very roundabout way, that's kind of what happened.
Well, I'll tell you, it is the U.S. of A's loss. We would love to have you, Nat, and it would be a great pleasure for the country. I know you're in Mexico. I know you probably love it, but just know every time you're on the panel, we think, man, oh man, how do we get more people like Nat in the red, white, and blue?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Folks, we've got 2 stories, including the headliner today having to do with the Mandalorian. It's back to Star Wars we go, and it might be the end of Pedro. I promised it. I'm sorry, William Thompson, but we're doing this the 4 seasons of the sizzle.
Clap it up, light it up, feel that roar. We shine brighter, we want more. Hearts in the stands, hands in the air. All for the name that we all share. W-I-O-I-A-M T-H-O-M-P-S-O-N William Thompson, that's our man.
It's time for my summer sizzle. Cool as a cherry popsicle. And don't hold back, get ready to stun. Fun, fun, fun for everyone. It's time for my summer sizzle. Beach ball parties, yeah, we're just getting started. It's time for an autumn fizzle. For Grizzle, the skill are on the trees. It's time for an autumn fizzle. Crack a barrel, mimosas, and strawberries. It's time for the winter whizzle. The sizzle has frizzled like a slush puppy. It's time for the winter whizzle. No Pedro and trailers, where can he be? Hey Disney, you're whacked now. Bring Peepom back now. Mando Avengers, set him free. It's time for the winter whizzle. Winter whizzle, get him unfreezed. It's a super spring spritzel. Pedro's big year has Disney dropping. It's a super spring spritzel. Take down Star Wars, Avengers, oh please. They picked the wrong people. Even Bree said, nah, woke is collapsing. Theater snapping. It's a super spring spritzel. Oh, spring spritzel. Switch to Ryan Gosling.
Now, I know many of you out there are ready to shed a tear. I know it's time to cry as we perhaps say goodbye to one Pedro Peepaw, the internet's Daddy Pascal. But it's looking like that's happening, and here's why. If you search for Pedro Pascal right now in Google News, which is the number one place to go find news other than thatparkplace.com, of course, what are you going to find? Well, this is the number one trending story right now about Pedro Pascal. We are approximately 3 weeks ahead of the Mandalorian Grogu. And the number one story about Pedro Pascal, other than his boy toy, who we will not talk about, is this story out of Geek Tyrant. Matthew McConaughey, Austin Butler, Pedro Pascal, and Tang Wei to star in Park Chan-wook's The Brigands of Rattle Creek. Sounds like a Halo map, Battle Creek. But it's The Brigands of Rattle Creek. You know, I'm going to say that's not the kind of story that should be the number one thing for Pedro Pascal as we get ready to go into Star Wars. If you go to the Hollywood Reporter and try to find stuff on Pedro right now, you got to go back to April 26th. This is crazy. I mean, this is crazy. He is nowhere to be found. Pedro fights back tears during Mandalorian Grogu event in Mexico. He says, I went to the movie theater so much with my family, the actor recalled after joining Jon Favreau on stage for the Disney film's CCXP Mexico panel. Literally, folks, this is the kind of stuff, this is the best that we have on what it is that Pedro's up to these days. And I know why now. We've looked into this. We've looked into the stats. Folks, I'm ready to show you something that is, frankly, unbelievable. What if I told you that, yes, the Mandalorian Grogu is on track to have the lowest Star Wars box office we've ever seen? 80 million is the projection. We've talked about it. What if I told you that the Google data gives us pause and a cause to say it may be far worse than that? Behold with thine eyes. Unless you're driving, in which case, please don't. Just keep driving. We'll tell you what it says. This is the chart for Google Trends. We are comparing three films of this year that I think are reasonable. We're not throwing stuff here. No kids' movies being used, right? Mandalorian Grogu versus Project Hail Mary versus The Devil Wears Prada 2. And what are we searching for? Well, we're looking to see how many people are searching for these things on Google. More importantly, we're looking to see how many people were searching for these things before the movie came out. We call that the interest runway. Some people call it the buzz, but the interest runway. And what we can see is that if we go back to the red line, which is Project Hail Mary, Project Hail Mary, if we go back, has an interest runway of 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and then the movie comes out and it explodes. But 6 weeks of really gathering interest. If we look at The Devil Wears Prada 2, what do we see? 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, and then the movie comes out. Not as big as Project Hail Mary in terms of people searching for it, but doing pretty darn well at the box office. What about The Mandalorian Grogu? This is Star Wars. This is the first Star Wars film in 7 years. And I want to remind you all, we know that it's projected at 80 million. I'm telling you, this is a bad sign, though, and it's why we're beginning to wonder at that Park Place in the Pro Channel, is this on track to bomb hard? It seems impossible. It seems impossible to fathom how Star Wars could bomb. Maybe there will be walk-up traffic. But ladies and gentlemen, join me as I say 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks of Mando, and it's under The Devil Wears Prada. Every single week of the run-up for Devil Wears Prada 2, every single week of the interest runway is higher than Mando. The Devil Wears Prada 2, higher than Mando. And when you look at the rise, and look at Project Hail Mary, the rise, we're not seeing anything similar with The Mandalorian Grogu 2. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is, people still aren't searching for this. Even the sequel trilogy story that we put out, that I think on X right now has 20 million plus views, nobody is searching for The Mandalorian Grogu. People care about, are you going back to the original trilogy? People care about resetting the sequel trilogy. Nobody online is searching for this movie. Nobody cares. Culture, these numbers are far worse than the box office numbers we're seeing. Does this portend the end of Pedro, and perhaps that this could actually come in lower? It might come in at 70.
Yeah, actually, I think it's going to be much lower than current projections. I think the forecasts are leaning the wrong direction on this. Lack of interest. And again, this is interest and awareness. These are the two factors that we really should be paying attention to when it comes to, looking at the projection markets. I think this is going to be, it's already confirmed to be the lowest projected Star Wars opening at 80 million. But consider this, Solo opened to 106 million when it opened its opening weekend. So this is going to be even worse than feared. We're going into, summer, the official start of summer. And I'm going to tell you right now, I think Mortal Kombat might clear, a significantly higher portion of dollars in its opening than maybe even Mando and Grogu, which is going to be insane if that actually happens. In fact, Mortal Kombat 2, I'm going to actually be seeing later today. And look, I'm going to see Mandalorian and Grogu, but I'm not doing it because it's a burning desire. It's because I do this for a living. This is my retirement income right now, and that's the only reason for me to see it, is to do a review on it and hopefully prevent people from spending their hard-earned entertainment dollars on something that is a catastrophe or an abomination as compared to what we had originally. And I think Nat, it looks like she's nodding and agreeing. So.
Yeah, I think it was in the tea leaves, essentially.
Yeah, let me show you something that's more concerning, I think. And that's really saying something, because what we see is very concerning. I mean, this is performing maybe at a quarter in terms of interest levels of The Devil Wears Prada. This ought to scare them to death. This ought to scare them to death. And I'll explain why. Because it's not obvious at first. All right. The red line here is just Star Wars. And I've changed this to just be search terms now. Mandalorian Grogu is the blue. Now, what have we been talking about in the last few days that might cause, in specifically the month of May, for the Star Wars line to skyrocket? What have we been talking about?
Oh, the shift at Disneyland theme park, right, Nat?
And the sequel trilogy, right? Yeah. Both of those things at the same time. Look at the change in the shift in Star Wars versus Mando. Mando is hardly moving at all, even as we go to the movie. But this conversation about resetting the sequel trilogy and the talk about the Disneyland characters going back to OG, all of a sudden Star Wars shot up. Star Wars went from 44% to 100%, and Mando in the same time went from 3% to 5%. This is remarkable. People are talking about Star Wars, and they have exploded in talking about Star Wars, and they're not talking about this movie at all. Nat, your thoughts on this? I think it's more evidence that Disney must pivot and pivot now.
And maybe I don't think they'll ever get it. But I was thinking back when I saw we were talking about Pedro today, and I was looking back at the video I released about Pedro, and that kind of got me connected with you initially. And I was looking at it's almost been a year, so thank you so much. I just wanted to say that first because of the Pedro thing and the connection that it kind of built between WDW Pro and me.
Well, and then I got to say thank you too, because you helped us do a similar thing with the Bad Bunny story. And people didn't know that, and your voice and your research got out there in a way that I we all needed to know that there was Venezuela cash allegedly behind Bad Bunny, and so here we go again, eh?
Yes, but with this specifically, and also, I mean, the search terms could also be partly due to May the 4th and just general interest in Star Wars, but Disney will continue to ignore that, and I think because they could have done something, I think, at least to try to get this a little bit of a bump, but it's clear now the market has spoken and continues to speak, and Disney continues to cover their ears. So,
absolutely, and that's why we are in a situation where we see no movement whatsoever for the Mandalorian. It's why we see, I think, no evidence of Pedro being out there. Culture, they've largely just leaned on Jon Favreau. You get occasional appearances from Sigourney Weaver. There's stuff about the puppet,
wide shots. There's wide shots about the practical effects. I mean, they're leaning more into things that are not Pedro Pascal. There's no
Pedro interviews. There's no Pedro interviews happening.
He's a ticking situation. I'm going to be careful with how I describe it. He could wreck the whole thing with any statement he makes about cuddling other guys, or who knows what I was going to ask.
With caution and care.
Yeah.
Isn't it odd that in the run up to this movie, suddenly the guy who was supposed to be, Mr. Masculinity and what women really want,
the face of new masculinity,
right? But he was being projected as what women want.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a boy toy, but it took all this time. The super secret everybody knew is suddenly out there in the trades. What's behind this that they've said, let's just tell them all? Pedro's he's swinging the other way. Like, why did it, before this movie is when they finally decided, okay, the jig is up. He's not,
Look, they marketed him incorrectly. Let's just say, but maybe they didn't. Maybe they don't think they did. Maybe peddling the soft male. And again, we just had a massive conversation about masculinity in a previous segment, but maybe peddling the soft male as the new hero, that doesn't work, but they're going to try it again. It's not like we haven't seen this before. And look, I mean, the current proposed James Bond isn't Aaron Taylor Johnson, who's quite masculine and well built, is now a super softy guy and a lordy guy, which I think is the worst thing you could do to James Bond. The same thing with Pedro. You're peddling the softest dude in the world. And he looked very feminine compared to Gina Carano, who in her femininity outpaced him in masculinity, which, it was obvious on screen. Disney has derailed themselves with all of these acquired franchises. And I asked Lou a question last night, Pro, that I think you'd be proud of. I asked him, when it comes to something like this, is this the future that Hollywood imagined, where they've lost the relevance of all the major franchises that they controlled? Is this Disney's view of the future, where they control the two largest franchises in history, the two most pop culturally relevant things, and it takes them less than a decade to disassemble them? Is that their plan? Is that the neo-Marxist direction they want to go?
It could be. It could be. We'll see. One thing's for sure, Nat, I'll give you the final word on this. Pedro is a no-show for the lead up to this movie. And I think that with Fantastic Four and the way it performed, I don't think we're going to get a lot of Pedro in blockbusters anymore. I think he's off the list. He's not an RDJ. He's not a Tom Holland. He's not a Timothy Chalamet. He's Pedro, and he's no peepaws. He's no peepaw of the internet. What do you say, Nat? Has this star burned out for Pedro?
Yes, but I also think it's interesting to note that given his new open circumstance, I will say, and not so long ago, Disney even would have tried to put him out there even more and speak about that a lot for the promotion. So it's interesting that they're not doing that now, and it might show a very, very tiny slight cultural shift. But I will say, I always saw him more useful for like an indie film that nobody watches about some random artist that nobody knows about. He always seemed more for that, and now I guess we know why.
I think we do. We were supposed to go to the next story. We were not supposed to break for Super Chats. We were supposed to go to the next story and then get Super Chats at the end. But folks, you may notice something on the screen that is obscenely annoying. No, it's not, Nat. Culture, quit that.
No, I was pointing at the poll.
Nat, if you want to throw that porcelain pug at him, you're more than willing. It's a Frenchie, I know. But if you need to attack with that.
No, it would go that way.
No, yeah, don't do that.
No.
Don't do that.
The poll is both broken and won't get off the screen. I've never had this problem before. What do? We have another segment, and that poll can't be up.
You publicly told people you have a broken poll on a live stream.
Oh, listen to you. Finally, the man who talks about having worms has caught me in a semantical snafu. Culture, what do? Do you have any powers? Do I need to call Lauren in here?
No, I'm powerless here. Lauren could have the power.
Hang on a second. Let's see if I can get Lauren in. Let's see if he can fix this. Hang on, Lauren.
I don't know how this works. Otherwise, I try to help too.
Yeah.
Immediately.
I have power on that Park Place, but not over here.
Let's see if he can join us. We'll get the super chat up. Maybe if we put a super chat up, it'll make the poll go away.
Nope.
Oh boy.
It resized it.
Oh boy. The poll is broken and it won't go away. Joppy for 100. Student slots are limited, so with rich students taking places and then leaving it increases costs all around, while the skills taught don't contribute to grow the economy, so the population suffers.
Boom.
Joppy, you're exactly right. Joppy continues on, says it is essentially a death spiral and causes growing costs for goods, housing, and services for its normal population due to rich people buying more, while paychecks don't keep pace for those who stay.
It's impossible to live there. You can't build a future.
I think that the invasion from other countries and it has really softened up what Canada used to be. The social services grew at an exponential rate with no tax base to support it, and that's just, I mean, it's the same thing that happens. Any socialized economy like that suffers. If for example, if Norway didn't have the unique opportunity to capitalize on their natural resources and power systems, they wouldn't be able to deliver what they deliver now to their populace. So you can only do that when you are a massive exporter of things that are just part of your natural reserves. So.
Michael out there, or is it Mikhail, says, thanks so much for spending so much time with us, Joppy, while you are recovering, and we share that sentiment indeed. Where is Lauren? I sent him a thing, said, we need you now. What is he doing? He says, give me 5 minutes. We got to put this. Oh, the poll's going to be there for another 5. Oh, boy. Spring Bear is going to get us in trouble. This is the kind of thing that we're to trend for. It says, Pedro is Dan Schneider.
Nick.
I don't think we can say that anymore. Let's see. We got Amish Warlord for $9.99. Big budget Hollywood flops should be investigated in the same way financial fraud is. Some studios intentionally destroy their success, and they need to be held accountable.
Agreed.
Yeah. Blind on a rocket cycle for $4.99. You know, with all this talk of dumping the sequel trilogy, I'm getting worried about The Acolyte getting a second season. I know, right? I don't know. It deserves it so much. And I would be so pleased if it got a sequel.
Oh, I think we would go out to dinner on that every week. It'd be amazing.
Folks, maintenance is in, and we're going to get the win from the guy who I'm sure has tossed away the chicken he was consuming before arriving. Nope. He'll be back.
The shadow grows. We must act. The enemy has found the roost. Our arrows are ready, but we need a plan. Then we fly to Mordor. Flock for the plan. By the lines of Rooster. Take that, you brave. What have they done?
Mountains whisper tales of fire and frost. Shadows rise where the borders are lost. Through the woods where the ancient ones sing, I hear the call of the elder ring. One sword to guide me, one heart to bind me through snow and flame, through night and sky.
Yes, tech support. Hey, Lauren, you fixed it. You got rid of that stinky, smelly pole that would get off the screen.
What would you guys do without me?
Lauren, we were so desperate. We didn't know what to do anymore.
Pro had a broken pole.
We were frankly forlorn.
I fixed it.
Lauren, how did you do that?
Well, I was in the middle of trying to do it when you created the new pole to see if that got rid of the old pole, and then I just said, get rid of the new pole that you just created, and it went away.
Okay. Click it again. Does it go away?
Did you put it back up again?
Sometimes it gets back up again.
Stop
Hang
it.
on. I want to try it one more time. Let me see if I can hide it. Hold on. I want to see if I can hide it. I can. It's fixed. Lauren, you fixed the show. Good sir, what do we owe you?
Well, what are my options? It's like, I don't want to be greedy here, but if you're offering something, then let me hear what you got.
We could release the shills. We could play the snoo clip. We could.
I know what. Bring Jonas back.
Oh boy.
But that's a lie. That's not until Tuesday.
I don't care. I love the song.
Well, me too.
Well, sometimes it feels like a Tuesday.
But for me, it was Tuesday.
Jonas is back, had to bring him back, back in the groove. Jonas is back, he's back, he's back, he's back. Oh, let him shine. Jonas is back, yeah. Had to bring him back. Jonas is back, he's back, he's back, he's back. Oh, let him shine. Little baby born on the brownstone steps. Harlem hit him with the right kind of death. No matter in the world where he goes away, can't take the soul out of his way. Jonas is back, had to bring him back, had to bring him back, back in the groove. Jonas is back, he's back, he's back, he's back. Oh, let him shine. Jonas is back, yeah. Had to bring him back. Jonas is back, he's back, he's back, he's back. Oh, let him shine. Pipes made for radio, pro show will do. Breaking down the Hollywoods, break it down anew. Not a single day does our very own forget. Hudson River flow is where his path was set. Jonas is back, had to bring him back, had to bring him back, back in the groove. Jonas is back, he's back, he's back, he's back. Oh, let him shine. Jonas is back, yeah. Had to bring him back. Jonas is back, he's back, he's back, he's back. Oh, let him shine. Morgan Freeman was born in Memphis. Diana from Detroit. But hey, looking up from Manhattan, Jonas is a hit it, big boy. Jonas is back, had to bring him back, had to bring him back, back in the groove. Jonas is back, he's back, he's back, he's back. Oh, let him shine. Jonas is back, yeah. Had to bring him back. Jonas is back, he's back, he's back, he's back. Oh, let him shine.
Pole's still broken.
What do you mean poll's still broken?
I mean, people are trying to put it in the poll. It's not doing anything.
I'm seeing it move.
You know what that QR code does? It's a fancy schmancy QR code. It takes people to the game. Zax. What? How did you do that? Look at that little thing. What is that?
That's a QR code.
No, the thing beside you, Culture. Look, you've got a little, I don't know, medallion. Did you make that? Is that yours?
It wasn't me.
You pointed at it and did little sparkly things.
It wasn't me.
You didn't do that time.
It wasn't
nice
me.
try, though. Good timing, Shaggy.
It wasn't me.
Folks, that QR code takes you to a little place we like to call the brand new game, Zax. It's over on That Park Place. And if you are a member, you get the password out there. You can go and play the game. I was furiously typing to try to show people what we've got right now. But we just put it out there, now available for mobile. So if you want to play it on your cell phone, your device, you can, folks. Try it out. Releasing it this summer. StreamYard is causing us problems again. Will it play it? Will it not for StreamYard? Don't know. Can't see. Doesn't look like it today. Something about, let's see, your screen is too cluttered to share this with your viewers. That can't be possible. There's no way.
Get rid of the poll.
Oh, you want? Oh, okay. Getting rid of poll. Let's see. Hey, it works again. How about that? That's not bad. Anyway, folks, go check it out. Yep. What do you say? Yeah.
This isn't annoying at all.
What's not annoying?
This.
You don't like
That's
that in
fine.
your space?
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Okay. Let's see here.
It's covering the bird.
Well, we wanted to cover the bird, right? I mean, every time you do that bird, we get in trouble.
The rooster?
Did you say rooster again?
Rooster?
Oh, boy. All right, folks, here it is. We finally got it to play. If you want to take a look at this, this is what members of the channel have access to right now. Let's see. Check it out. Play your daily challenge. Have a lot of fun. There's all kinds of levels, but you can play along. Oh, boy. Get that banner off, too. Folks, it's available for members of the channel. It's getting better and better and better. Click the QR code. It's all over Culture's face. And join as we continue to make this game for you, releasing in full this summer. It is the early access beta out right now.
It's fun.
Are you angry, Culture? You want that QR code off of you?
That's fine. The game's fun, though. I'm just saying. I played it.
That's good.
I spent a lot of wasted time on it.
It's hey, Lauren. Oh, I was stuck there for a minute. You know why?
What is this?
It's a medal.
Where'd it come from? I don't see how we remove that. I don't know what that is.
I'm guessing it's because he scanned the QR code.
What the?
What are you doing? Quit playing this stuff.
Oh, boy. What a show today. What a show. Lauren,
post-production meeting is going to be a little rough, gentlemen.
Amish says, have you tried turning the poll off and on again?
It's, believe it or not, it's not me, Mikhail. I am not actually doing anything in the back end. This is all pro.
After the show, we're all staying right here.
Anything. Lauren is very clear. He's not doing anything in the back end. We got that.
Oh, goodness.
Lauren, and I'm so happy he could start pole dancing.
It's so juvenile. It's so juvenile.
I'm doing a shoulder shimmy right now. Can you not see it? Shoulder shimmy.
Oh, man.
Lauren,
when the camera goes on, we're going to have problems. I can tell.
Would you perhaps, Lauren, be willing to stay for one more itsy bitsy story?
The itsy bitsy story. What?
Let's do it. Just one more. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the final scoop, and it's on the way right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been saying for a while now that Disney has been suffering low attendance, and we were called out. We were told, no, that's not true. It turns out we were bringing you the truth all along, and now it's being confirmified not only by Josh D'Amaro in that earnings report, but places like Disney Tourist blog saying it too. Disney park attendance and hotel occupancy down, but higher guest spending drives revenue record. This by Tom Bricker. And folks, what did we tell you all along? We said Hey, there's not as many people in the parks. There's not as many people in the parks. We would sometimes call them empty because they felt that way at certain parts of the year. Now it looks like that was all true. During its first ever earnings call under new CEO Josh D'Amaro, the Walt Disney Company reported its second quarter fiscal 2026 results. This covers the good and bad for Walt Disney World and Disneyland. Company-wide, Disney reported revenue of $25.2 billion. Yay for them, right? In addition, the company expects third quarter total segment income, talking about the parks, of $5.3 billion. They got $8 billion the last quarter, so interesting. They think they might go down for the summer. It goes on to talk about this. It says, unsurprisingly, the theme parks are once again a bright spot and the focus on this website. So let's turn to that segment. It says the experiences segment delivered record revenue and operating income. That's financial speak for profits, with growth of 7% and 5% respectively relative to the same quarter of the last year, 2025. While the company incurred pre-opening costs related to both the Disney Adventure cruise ship and World of Frozen at Disneyland Paris, weighing in on income by roughly 2%, growth came in modestly ahead of guidance thanks to stronger revenue growth. Now, folks, I'm just going to explain this to you because there's a lot of jargon here. Let's cut through it and let's just explain. Attendance down 1%, and specifically at the domestic parks. Now, we know that Disney is using a lot of double counting in a legal way when they have these special nighttime events. So the attendance is probably worse than that. We added this up recently, and it was something like we think about 4% down for Walt Disney World. We think. So how in the world did they get revenues up by 4 or 5%? Well, because they raised the prices on you. Because they jacked the prices up. Culture. Why are people not reporting this? I think the more accurate way, attendance down, prices up. Can Disney sustain this? That's the question on everybody's mind. How long can they go with this strategy? Where is the ceiling? And also, would you like to, maybe say, yeah, Pro, you got that right, even though the haters were hating. No, you don't have to do that. Culture, how much farther can they go with this strategy of higher prices, lower crowds?
I think they've already bumped their head on the ceiling. I think that really the people who showed up at the parks most recently did so because they were obligated to do this trip before, or they had it booked and paid for already. The exorbitant price increases across the board and the outright greed in the form of Lightning Lane and other things, the lack of perks and everything else are going to start being expressed now in free dining and other things as well. There's no amount of, free one-day arrival day, water park day that's going to, outshine the fact that this vacation cost you $2,000 more than the last time you did, Walt Disney World for a week or more. If you haven't been there since 2019, you have no concept of how much it costs for the same experience. It is so dramatically different because of the cost increases that it should embarrass Disney. And I think that it will over the course of not just this summer, even though prices are somewhat comparable to what you experience at down the street, around the corner, up north, whatever you want to call it, to get to Universal. I'm just going to tell you, it's just a vastly different experience, more like old Disney experience than it is like the new Disney experience. And that the fact that they're the least customer friendly they've ever been, I think, is reflecting poorly in articles that are being written about this. It's not the cast members' fault; it's the lack of cast members, and that's why they've been pushing everybody to their phones, but they don't want everybody to use their phones. And when they start challenging people using their phones, they're going to run into a lot of frustration. And whether or not you're taking a picture or a video with your phone and you get challenged on the street, your phone is required equipment now for the parks, which is also ridiculous. This is not going to end well, and their interdependence on regulars is really going to be exposed in the future, especially when you start to see locals starting to react adversely to this. And those are all of my thoughts all in one place. I can let anybody else talk now.
Well, Nat, we took a lot of heat on both the Pro Channel and TPP for saying that the Disney parks are empty. Now, the reason that we say that is because there are times of the year where they are empty, and last year was much worse than this year. And in all fairness, it seems like there's an improvement. But part of what Disney seems to do to hide the attendance drop is they have all of these nighttime events now, and they're allowed to do that. There's no problem here. But it does hide, to some degree, just how empty the parks can be on a regular day, especially when it's not spring break. Spring break is very crowded. Why do you think we get such vitriol? Why do people hate it so much for us to say that attendance is down? What is it that shocks these people, the pixie dusters, the cupcakers? Like, who cares? That they could spin this. They could say, now's the perfect time to come. It's less crowded. But instead they attack us. Why do you think so?
I could go really deep here, but I could have something to do with cognitive dissonance and the fact that a lot of people have formed their identities lately around a specific thing like Disney and the company as a whole, but also the parks and how important the parks are to them. So if they were to admit that less people are going, be it because it's more expensive or because people have lost interest in it, it's probably would also indicate that they are now shouldn't probably no longer be interested themselves either. But they have to continue to be interested because they've hinged basically their entire identity around the park or Disney as a general company. So that's the way I see it. But at the same time, Casino asked if Disney will ever learn, and I don't think so, because they do increase the prices and then they give one or two perks here and there that allows the pixie dusters and other people that do still want to go to say, no, it's great, and they're giving us all these advantages to go now. But then they remove those, and there was only for a week or two, or as you mentioned, the late night events, and then it goes back to just being incredibly expensive and no longer focused on their older market, which the market they used to have, which was the families that can no longer go.
Absolutely, I think you're exactly right. The other thing too is we're getting statements that hotel occupancy is down. You can see that in the report we were just reading from. Folks can go read it, and I highly recommend that you check out Tom Bricker over at the Disney Tourist blog. It's a great website. We love reading what he has to say. But hotel occupancy down is another fearful thing, and I wonder if this includes DVC. I don't know. Culture, do you know the answer to that? Does this include DVC in the hotel occupancy? I think that's in the same line.
It wouldn't surprise me. I've had recent contact with DVC and with believe it or not, it's the outlying resorts that are more difficult to secure, probably because they cost less points. But Disney is kind of saturated the market when it comes to DVC, despite the fact that they're redeveloping areas to add to their DVC count. I'm not going to say there's not a market for more, but what I will say is that market for more comes with a lot of strings attached that a lot of people are tired of jumping through the hoops. Disney is being less friendly to DVC owners than they've ever been before.
Sure. Lauren, as we look at all this, the 250th Celebration of America is this summer. Disney really needs to get it turned around. If they can't have higher attendance for that versus last year, it's going to be very embarrassing. And the problem is, Josh D'Amaro was put in place as CEO because of his success with parks. It's kind of interesting that as soon as he becomes CEO, we start seeing, some of these numbers are not so great after all. I don't know. What do you think of it, Lauren? Do you think that they need to show a win with the 250th stuff? They're doing Soarin', they're doing Rock and Roller Coaster, all this stuff celebrating America. What do you think?
A win would certainly be helpful. You always want to win when you can get one. I'm not sure if I agree with culture, but only for one specific reason. If park attendance is down, but revenues are up because they're charging more, as long as those revenues are up, they're going to continue to charge more. They will only change once that revenue number starts going down and make adjustments. So I think the question for me is, can you continue to milk those people who have made Disney their identity, or will they eventually tune out? If they do, that's when you're going to start seeing major changes in costs. But until then, I think they do keep milking it.
If attendance, but Lauren, your argument, look, I'm just going to say, for the last several quarters, park attendance has been declining. Their revenues may be up, but you have to believe that at the same time that the people who are the Disney lifestylers are also dropping out of the pay forever model. Disney cannot subscription model their park going, and it's gonna come at a cost, because the minute Epic Universe it allows for the park passes to include them, annual passes and such, And I think that's the kind of the epic headwinds down the street that Josh was talking about in the earnings call.
That
So
I think
my-
is a better argument. I agree with you.
It's the
that
same
Epic-
argument.
No,
It's the same argument, Lauren, because you cannot say, because park attendance is going down, it doesn't include a bunch of lifestylers who just can't afford to make it their identity anymore.
I'm not saying it doesn't. What
Okay.
I'm saying is that they are still making greater profits. What I'm saying is they will continue to do so until they can't. And the reason is, I do think the epic argument is a good one, but the thing is, eventually they will be forced to come more into line with reality. When that happens, people will come flocking back because it suddenly becomes affordable again. Now, if Epic has the better offering, that's the threat to Disney. But
Yeah.
I think that's also why Disney is interested in milking for as long as they can, because if they need to compete, that means they have to do lots more upgrades, they have to do lots more maintenance, they have to bring on more staff. All of that requires more money. So as long as they can milk, they're going to milk. That's my
Final question for the panel. They've admitted that Epic hurt them. They're claiming that Epic's not going to hurt them anymore because there's some sort of, hey, Epic's been out for 1 year. I don't know what they're trying to pretend with investors that matters, but they're claiming Epic hurt them and it's not going to hurt them anymore. My thing is, I'm looking at Epic and it looks to me like Epic's about to start fireworks. We're getting indications that Epic Universe is about to start having nighttime ticketed events, which means that they stay open later. You can come into Celestial Park and then you can go into these other areas. It may be open now for separately ticketed events until like 1 or 2 in the morning. We're getting indications that Epic may go to annual passes soon. All of this could increase Epic attendance by 30-40%. So why would I think that attendance is going to get better for Disney over the next 2 years, considering it's under construction? It's the construction kingdom. You got Villains Land, you got Rivers of America, you got Hollywood Studios, all of this stuff. It's Walcott everywhere, all over again, except in the other parks. I don't understand where Disney's coming from, where they think that they can proclaim attendance is going to be just fine. I don't get that at all right now. I see the opposite.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah, I think that's fairy dust in marketing. I don't think that attendance is going to get better, as you said, until construction and maintenance also get better, when they actually have some new things to display. One other thing to keep in mind is one that Culture was mentioning, which is that I think Disney has a higher barrier to entry when it comes to just navigating all the things you have to do to have a good park experience in Disneyland. If you're having to deal with your phone and Lightning Lane and all these other services just to try and get to see the things you want, or you could just book a day at Epic and hopefully get into the things that you want without having to be on the phone constantly, that also makes it a more attractive prospect.
Man, there's so much you have to do. It's so unenjoyable to go to the Disney parks. Nat, I asked the question in the chat, but I'm going to ask it on screen. Do you have any trips planned to come to the States to do any of the theme parks or anything anytime soon? Or are you guys just chilling out home?
No, I mean, eventually we do have to go up to Alberta, Canada, but that's for a different purpose. If I were ever to go to a park in the US, if I had the money, I will say I would go to Dollywood probably, honestly.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's a great selection.
Yeah,
well, Boo
good pick.
Birds, we're sorry, but Pro got it again. I don't want to toot my own horn, but we just told the truth and it was always going to come out eventually. The earnings report was always going to happen. So yeah, attendance is down. Shocker. I know. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge thank you, muchísimas gracias, to all the moderators out there for everything you do. We have the best wrenches in the world. Wildman of Yavin for 5, Disney should talk to Frank Thomas and Doug Flutie about their low T situation. And hey, she'll kill it too. Interesting. Thank you, Wildman. And then dropping 5 WDW Pro memberships, Lauren, hang tight. Well, man, thank you. We wanted to tell you without Lauren here. Oh, no, we're kidding. It's a StreamYard thing. You're back. Broken polls, Lauren getting kicked out. Wild man, thank you, buddy. We appreciate you.
It was a peaceful planet until he arrived. Then he brought wild to our skies.
You know, I really wish at this point StreamYard would fix that thing where we can just go to the clips. That would be so nice if our panel didn't disappear. It's a drag, I tell you. Cuban Superman for 2. Have you seen the new Michael Eisner interview? I have not. Is there a new Michael Eisner interview that we want to know about? If we do, look it up, Culture. Let's throw that in the bullpen and let's get started on it. Thank you, Cuban Superman. We'll see what's happening out there. Blisters and Beauty became a YouTube member. I feel like that should be an electric guitar band. I think it should be a rock band, all females. I think that's the way to go. Blisters and Beauty. We've got Calluses in Class. No, that's no. The Mom for $4.99. Pro earlier super chat. They changed heroes to reflect the overly loud political message. You did go the right direction. To last topic, Fam 3 1998 5-day. $2,200. That's right. You could spend $2,000 in a single day. Now, if you've got a family of 4 or 5, no problem. You can get there when you include, and you could do it with a family of 3 too, once you include the food and the hotel. Blisters and Beauty back again for 5. I've unjoined most all Canadian political channels and have chosen some of my favorite guys and gals to hang with instead. Well, can we recommend Nat and the Guy, which I'm assuming, Nat, is this one of your wonderful viewers from your channel?
Not that I know of. I'm hopefully a new viewer because we're trying to talk about the different side, the hopeful side, I guess, but no.
In that case, Blisters and Beauty, you know where to go at Nat and the Guy. Check it out today and find out what's happening in Canada and beyond. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have had a great show. We've had a good show. We appreciate every single one of you out there joining us and making the electricity happen. The dream to stream only comes true because of you. Join us tomorrow night at 9 p.m. for a charity stream unlike anything you've seen before. And I'll tell you, I wasn't going to say this. Wilton has sent me a 6-minute epic intro that involves things I didn't frankly know he could afford. Be there, 9 p.m. tomorrow. Charity stream, and then we'll do Lord and Apollo. After that, we've got so much more to bring to you. Thank you for being here. You are the gigawatts. You're amazing. Until the next time, folks, stay classy, San Diego.
I grew up through wars, poverty, and my life's falling apart. But Wilton's life, well, he's never really lived. He needs legs.
Hi, Wilton the Troll doesn't have any legs, and I feel so bad for him. I'm really excited to help. I'm emptying my piggy bank and giving all my birthday money so he can get better.
Wilton is precious. He said I remind him of his mom.
I really like Wilton the Troll, so I'm gonna empty my piggy bank and my education account to help him. Wilton needs legs more than I need college right now.
I'm honestly just sad for Wilton. He was born with no legs. And me, I got this wheelchair.
I've dealt with my own challenges, so when I heard about him, I knew I had to step up.
Wilton told me he could help me with my computer because I remind him of his mom. But then I did something wrong and it completely broke my computer, so I'm emptying my savings account to help him instead.
Wilton, you're my favorite troll now.
I'm donating because Wilton deserves to feel like he's not alone.
He needs our help.
He's gonna be so happy.
He also told me I was pretty. And I like that too.